Two historic programs on this side of North Carolina battled out in midweek baseball. Reigning CAA champs UNC Wilmington come to town, fresh off a great start in the conference. East Carolina in the American, number 15 program, and they want to get back to regional expectations here in Greenville, North Carolina. Welcome to an epic atmosphere here in a land called the Jungle in Greenville with Mike Mullis, longtime Greenville coach. I'm EvanBudrovich. First meeting in this matchup went extra innings. Really good game in the 10th. Mike, what's the biggest key to success for these programs?
Clean baseball. That's what both teams are looking for. This time of the year, maturing into what they're going to be the rest of the year, clean baseball is all both coaches want to see.
East Carolina right now, top 25 in pitching in the country, ERA and fielding. UNC Wilmington, a great weekend over Elon, a 3-0 start. The Bats came to play. But Mike, going back to that first matchup in early March, it was a 10th inning wild pitch that made all the difference.
Yeah, there were a lot of crazy plays in that game, including the big play by Jenkins Cowart, the put-out double, a couple errors that are very uncharacteristic for the Pirates, and all that led to an extra inning ball game.
That was the 147th meeting. Something tells me 148 is going to be really good tonight because of some big-time players. That game had multiple lead changes. Tanner Thatch, the reigning CAA Player of the Week, he's putting up video game-like numbers. 13 home runs. What a power threat for UNC Wilmington.
Yeah, the Perquimans Thunder, you can't say enough about Tanner Thatch and the season he's having. The home run numbers speak for themselves, but also a pretty lofty batting average to accompany the power.
What a fantastic performer for UNC Wilmington. East Carolina counters with Carter Cunningham, who was 2 for 3 against Wilmington last time out, and he's leading the American in some big-time categories.
You know, you've been on fire all year when you see your batting average fall from nearly 500 to 422 like it did this past weekend. A little bit of a scuffle, only 3 or 4 hits against UTSA. Looking to bounce back with a big night tonight.
When we come back, get you all set with starting lineups and get you set to go. East Carolina and UNC Wilmington. The rivalry renews when we come back. Welcome back to Greenville. Crowd filling in quite nicely for this midweek matchup. 148th all-time meeting. A lot of history between these two rivals east of I-95. And for head coach Cliff Godwin, he rolls out a traditional midweek starter. Chris Kaler, the George Washington transfer, He pitched maybe his best effort against Elon last week. 5 innings, 1 run. How does he replicate that performance tonight?
You know, in Kaler's game is go out, throw strikes, 88, 89, locates the fastball as good as anybody on staff for the Pirates. A good breaking ball when he's got it and pitches super fast. So if you've never seen Kaler pitch, lock in. He's going to try to get the ball, get it going again, but throw a pitch about every 8 to 12 seconds.
That is my kind of baseball right here as we get things rolling. Wilmington and East Carolina. And right away on the first pitch, John Newton being aggressive, the starting left fielder for UNC Wilmington. Topsy-turvy game in Wilmington back in the middle of March, a 1-run difference. And here's the starting lineup brought to you by Grady White Boats. Tanner Thatch is having an unreal year, 13 home runs. But returning all conference players, Trevor Marsh hitting second, Jack Kroom at third base. Here's that full lineup for Randy Hood in his 5th year. It's an offense, Mike, that's off to a slow start, but 33 doubles, 36 home runs. They have balance.
You know what? If you look at their season stats, they're right at 40 home runs as a club, about 10 more than the Pirates. So they've got some bop in the lineup, will not hesitate to lay a bunt down as needed. Always kind of a signature of a UNCW Randy Hood, even going back to Mark Scaff team that loves to put the pressure on the defense and play fast.
Speaking of fast, Chris Kaler's wheeling on the mound. That gets past Joey Barini, the shortstop, and a leadoff hit for John Newton, who had 2 hits when these teams met in Wilmington back on March 12th.
You know, your fear with Kaler is because he does work so quickly, if he were to find himself in trouble, it's very hard to get the bullpen up in time to kind of minimize his trouble. So it's one of those things the staff has to be mindful of because, again, Kaler likes to get it and go right at the hitter. One
defensive note, Riley Johnson remains out. He tweaked on Saturday, so Carter Cunningham moves to center. That means Chaz Myers gets the start at first base. Only his 3rd start of the year, some defensive positioning. And, Mike, this has been the strength of the Pirates, 977. They're 15th in the country in fielding.
Yeah, and again, they're about 8 points over Wilmington, and Wilmington's had at times some struggles, and we alluded to it in the open. That's going to be the difference in this ball game is which team plays cleanest, handles the baseball, takes care of the baseball, and collects the outs that are expected. That was a problem for these Pirates in San Antonio this past weekend.
Had 4 errors in the series at UTSA, a rare opening series loss for Cliff Godwin's team. As Trevor Marsh smokes one to center. That one is out of the ballpark. What a start for Trevor Marsh, his 6th homer of the year.
Yeah, he missed not a bit of that one. That is not a no help for the win there. That ball's just hammered pure barrel and drives it out over the optimum sign out in right center, just right of the batter's eye.
Trevor Marsh with home runs in back-to-back games for the reigning first-team All-CAA member right here.
Again, what a great swing. Puts up, again, not an effort to do more than he's capable of doing. Puts a good swing on an elevated fastball and drives it out of the ballpark.
We noted with Wilmington a power surge this year, and Tanner Thatch, who hits next, does so much of it, 13. But nearly 40 home runs combined for this offense. That's the best in the CAA. On a night where the park is playing out, the wind is blowing pretty hard. Could be a hitter-friendly night in these first few innings.
Yeah, everybody in the Wilmington lineup except for the hitter in the non-spot has a home run on the season. So top to bottom, the ability to do it, and several of these guys, again, Thatch leading the club with 13, but several guys in the 5-6 range.
Here's Alec DiMartino, and he takes a big swing. This will stay in the yard. Cunningham can't get there. And the hits continue. 3 straight base hits for UNCW.
And this is exactly what Coach Hood and the staff wanted to see out of the Seahawks. Come out, applying pressure early. 2-run home run obviously is a big deal. No outs in the inning, and that will get the bullpen started for the Pirates.
It's already a quick conversation here.
Yeah, and this is the last thing that this Pirate staff wanted to see in a midweek game, again coming off of opening conference season or series, and bad things get worse with Tanner Thatch strolling to the plate with a runner on first base. And one of these deals, the conversation here is probably, hey, settle in. We still need you to extend your outing, try to find a way to get us out of here. But Thatch obviously is not a guy that you want to make a mistake to.
And Cliff Godwin noted on Monday he loved the starting pitching of Chris Kaler at Elon. That's a tough place to pitch, and his best career start in an ECU uniform.
Yeah, and Wilmington coming off of a 3-game sweep of Elon this past weekend. So, all things being equal, and that's kind of the comparison game everybody likes to play. So draw whatever inference you wish there. But, Kaler with clearly his best outing last week. We've seen him effective at times throughout the year, but a tall order now in the left-handed hitting Thatch.
Tanner Thatch lays off. He is putting up video game-like numbers. Charlie Condon at Georgia is one thing. This may be the next best hitter in college baseball. Top 10 in home runs. He's got 35 RBI, just trailing Grant Knepp of Campbell for the CA lead. Really impressive in his sophomore year.
When sometimes you look at the pick to see if there may be a bunt, I feel fairly confident Thatch is not laying one down. I think this may be a little more of a situation, give the bullpen an opportunity to get up and going.
Thatch enters this game on a 7-game hit streak. Create a breaking ball there from Chris Kaler.
Yeah, kind of a rule of thumb, Ev, is after a pitcher kind of struggles early, coach goes out and makes a trip, you as a hitter are looking for that ball that you can let it fly on, that fastball that maybe is a little too good. Kaler's come back with 2 off-speed offerings. That's the first fastball that Thatch has seen to finally get himself back in the count to a 1-ball, 2-strike count.
Against an elite hitter like Thatch, how important is that timing and that quick tempo that Kaler works with?
You know what, and that upsetting timing and rhythm is a pitcher's job, right? So that's a big deal with everybody, certainly with Thatch.
Drawing more attention over there at first. This is a Wilmington team, 28 of 32, efficient stealing the bases, but over 100 steals last year for Randy Hood's club. Now ahead in the count. Thatch able to even things up. Tanner, the reigning CA player of the week. Not just good numbers. Hit .615 in a 3-game stand. Dominated Elon at home. Had 3 homers. He scored 5 times. He drove in 5 more. And now he ropes one to first. Good hands by Myers. How about Myers in his first start over there, turning a double play?
Nice play for Chaz. I mean, he's earned the start through a lot of hard work and put the effort to get in the lineup, and it pays off here. You see this ball pulled very hard. Great job by Chaz to stay in front of it, recover it. Good relay throw there, and pretty easy double play.
Soft hands for the senior out of Antioch, California. Coming to make it an impact from the University of the Pacific. Arndt with a big swing there, not able to catch up.
Pretty good job here of Kaler coming back, throwing that out, getting a nice play by his first baseman, and an opportunity to get himself out of the inning with minimized damage.
This ball's driven to right, but enough room there for Jacob Jenkins Coward. 3 quick outs after the 2-run shot from Trevor Marsh. Now East Carolina's offense comes up when we return. Welcome back to Greenville, where Matt Gaither, the Midlothian, Virginia product, gets the ball. He has been a starter in his career, but you have to go back to 2023, just the 3rd appearance this year for Gaither. And now looking to slow down an East Carolina offense that enters this game really known for its pitching staff this year, but 54th in the country in batting average. They provide some challenges for an opposing pitcher.
Yeah, and again, we've seen some juggling in the lineup. You mentioned earlier with Chaz in the lineup over at first base. Jacob Starling moved up a couple spots. So we'll see how it works out for Coach Galvin and staff, and see if the Pirates can put something together against Gaither, the tall, good-looking left-hander.
This is Gaither's first start in 2 years. The Grady White Boat starting lineup. Jacob Starling moves up into the 3-hole for ECU, hitting .241, and what a start for Jacob Jenkins Cowart, .368 in the heart of this lineup.
Yeah, I mean, nobody's been better in spurts. He will have a couple little off ABs where maybe the luck isn't there, maybe put some overly aggressive swings on it, but yeah, he's been a stalwart for the Pirates for several years now.
Bristol Carter had a great series with 5 hits against UTSA for Coach Cliff Godwin. You saw him just popping away to his third base dugout. For Randy Hood defensively, it's a club that's always fielded the ball well. Right now they rank 40th in the country, and Kevin Jones, the 3-year starter, is short. Also, we noted Thatch offensively, but he's a really good defensive first baseman.
Oh yeah, look, a great player. I mean, he is absolutely the pride of Belvedere, North Carolina, and I'm sure they're locked in down that way watching him play and watching their maybe their favorite son go at it against the Pirates. So
Carter Cunningham gets things started for this East Carolina offense. Cunningham, the reigning American Athletic Player of the Week. Those numbers are hard to quantify thus far. Fantastic start for Carter, who lays down a bunt, and that one rolls just foul. What a tool to have an elite 400 hitter put a bunt down in the second pitch.
You know, when that is one thing that the Pirate staff talks about, the entirety of their club being very selfless and in it for the greater good, looking at the kind of the we stats and not the me stats. So that situation, Cunningham, you know, maybe catches the third baseman napping a little bit, or so he thinks, and takes a shot at it. At least it opens up some holes, and they have to respect the fact that he will do that. And we may see that play bigger later in the game.
Cunningham went 2 for 3 when these teams met down in Wilmington. That game was kind of bonkers in itself. 5 lead changes in the final 5 innings. ECU won it on a wild pitch. And now the at-bat continues.
Yeah, Gaither tries a big breaking ball there in the 0-2 pitch.
Gaither's last start, this was March 11th of 2023. Where were we all back then? That's the real question. 7 innings against Monmouth, no earned runs, but he's been a bullpen guy since. And dots it up there pretty well for the strikeout.
Yeah, really quality fastball on the outside, kind of following up the breaking ball in a very similar area. Freezes Cunningham, and you know, maybe the feeling that it's a little off, but not too much of the home plate umpire to ring them up.
That's Jimmy Paler behind the plate. Gaither has not pitched since March 5th. That was a midweek game against Boston College. And in that game, Boston College set a program record 18 strikeouts in a 14-7 win. Those are the kind of games where you scratch your head as Jacob Jenkins Cowart pokes one into the gap. He's looking extra bases here out of the box. And a 1-out double for the Pirates.
Yeah, Jenkins Cowart does a good job of staying on the breaking ball and drives that into right center field for a fairly routine, fairly easy double.
Such an athlete out of the box here, Mike.
Yeah, you see he just stays with that pitch. Again, not trying to do too much. Hangs a little bit for him. He drives that thing into right center, checks up in front of the center fielder, right fielder, and he's able to slide into second base with a double.
And the mustache this time of the year is really cooking for JJC.
Big deal for the club. You know, mustaches, March mustache for ALS, and some very different facial hair at different levels for these young men. They're all giving it their best. Some efforts are a little better than others.
And you have a veteran like Jacob Starling, whose mustache is slowly percolating in.
Yeah, he's going with a little more the goatee look. So,
hey, you look good, you play good, and then they pay you good if you're Deion Sanders. So Jacob Starling moving up to the 3 spot today, pops this one up. DiMartino has room. Cowart is tagging on the play, and a really good throw is just late. Good situational baseball there.
Yeah, good base running, and you know, he sees that ball's clearly going to be called, and carrying the right fielder to the right field line, so he makes his way back and easy tag and head over to third base, and lots of ways to score from third base, as we all know.
Cliff Godwin noting this week the confidence he had in Jacob Starling despite a tough start to the conference, and moves him up, showing him that confidence tonight.
Yeah, and that's kind of been a common question with the Pirate fans, is Starling struggling, but you know, he's been a guy that historically, as the weather warms up, so does his batting average, and I think they're going to give him every opportunity in the world to play his way through this.
2-out spot for Ryan McChrystal who slides into the power spot for ECU.
McChrystal with a couple of home runs on the season and definitely has it in that bat.
You hear this crowd coming to life after a tough series loss on the road where some defensive mishaps cost the Pirates 2 of 3. A one-run loss Sunday, the big storyline. And all of a sudden, these programs shift back into midweek mindset. Wilmington fresh off its best series of the year, dominating Elon. And McChrystal hits one hard to first. There's Tanner Thatch, and that's the inning. East Carolina strands one as we head to the second here in Greenville. UNC Wilmington led by fourth-year head coach Randy Hood. Not only a longtime assistant here at Wilmington, but maybe his best athletic feat. He was a high school teammate of Michael Jordan growing up in the Wilmington area. He has since spent 20 years down at UNCW. Had a great start, of course, at Campbell to begin his coaching career. He met his wife 25 years ago.
Hoodie, one of the great baseball guys, great person all the way around. I mean, the staff and the history at UNC Wilmington, and I mean, just had a ton of great folks come through that program back to Coach Mark Scaff's days. And, you know, again, Hoodie's one of the best.
So Jack Kroom leads things off. UNC Wilmington, not only off a fresh series win, reigning CA tournament champs, where the program had to win 4 games in 3 days due to a rain-shortened tournament to pull home the tournament title. And now a big drive here from Jack Kroom. This is the lightning bolt UNCW needs for a 3-0 start.
Again, a mistake by Chris Kaler, and the Seahawks take advantage of it. A good swing, keeping it fair, and big, long fly ball home run out of here, and extends the lead to 3-0 for the Seahawks. You see Kaler just catches a little bit of too much plate there. That pitch a little elevated, and you know that's the danger when you have a guy that doesn't have great velocity. His margin for error is not very great, and that'll bring the skipper Cliff Godwin out to the mound, and looks like he's going to look to the bullpen to make a change.
Yeah, Cliff Godwin going to his bullpen early here in the midweek. Night with the winds blowing out. You see the numbers there for Kaler. The 2 home runs will ultimately do him in. And now the new arm for the Pirates comes in. We'll take that timeout as a new arm enters for East Carolina. So a quick call to the bullpen here for East Carolina. Eric Ritchie now enters for the Pirates. His 12th outing of the year. He's been largely a one-inning reliever, 6 walks to 20 strikeouts. And Mike, what do the Pirates need from Ritchie here tonight?
You know, Ritchie has had signs of being a guy that really settles into that spot and can be capable of getting you out of situations, and a guy that can even extend a couple, maybe even 3 innings if you need him. It's been the consistent command issues that have been a problem. So you see it there on your screen, 20 strikeouts to 6 walks. Doesn't seem terrible, but it seems like the walks kind of come in bunches, and when they do, you know, he just tries to get maybe a little too fine, and it tends to cause balls to be hit a little harder than they would like. So anyway, you know, Ritchie, chance to come in with a clean inning and see if he can take control of this game for the Pirates and face Kevin Jones, the Lenore Community College product, coming to the plate.
A litany of local products for both these programs. Over 30 players from the state of North Carolina here for UNC Wilmington, and that's a recruiting strategy Randy Hood has loved in his 5 years here, 20 as an assistant, now 5 as the head coach. Mark Scaff built down at Wilmington, a fantastic program. 7 regional appearances, get back to a tournament last year. And now that next generation, Kevin Jones will hit against the new pitcher. And Jones wastes no time. That's rocketed in the corner. A chance for extras here for UNC Wilmington. And a double continues this hot start. 5 hits for the Seahawks.
Yeah, Speedy Jones just easing right into second base, and good swing on that ball, pulled it down the line, and you know, the saga continues. If you're a Pirate fan, the Seahawks are seeing it good tonight, putting good swings on it, and having a lot of success to show for it.
Bats that swung really well against Elon. Averaged 9 runs a game in that series, and that has continued tonight. Novobilski now up. Kevin Novobilski out of New Jersey. We've told you how many local products there are for North Carolina. He's one of 2 players from Virginia and North. It's a largely North and South Carolina-based roster here for Randy Hood.
And that's something that you know, historically Wilmington has been more than willing to address needs out of state. Also very aggressive in the junior college ranks and some of even the academy ranks with several players on the roster from Pro 5. So they're going to go out and fill the fit needs and figure out kind of the pieces they need to pull together. Kind of interesting. You don't typically see with an offense like UNCW, the DH hitting 200, but Novobilski at the plate, and
Novobilski pokes one the other way, and that gets down.
Yep.
So everyone getting involved in the hit parade here. 6 hits for the Seahawks.
Yeah, and I guess where I was going with that is you got to feel like they've got a lot of confidence in him for him to be in the lineup, and maybe just looking to give him an opportunity to break out. Again, he takes that pitch, serves it into left field, and puts runners on first and third with no outs. Eric Ritchie has come in and found himself in a little more trouble than he had probably anticipated.
What an infectious start if you're UNC Wilmington offensively. To wrap up that point, maybe one of the best in-state, Austin Warren and Ryan Jeffers, who are now in the big leagues for Wilmington, 2 elite alums. Jeffers now getting major time behind the plate. He's the next Joe Mauer, if you will, iteration 2.0 at the catching position. And here's Kyle Dobos, the freshman second baseman.
You know, there's value here in Eric Ritchie being in the game with the runner at first base, and you know, three-run lead already, no outs in the inning. It gives you an opportunity to better control the running game. But you know, right now, nothing would surprise me with Wilmington if they were to put them in action.
Runners hold this time, and a serviceable fly ball to right. That should cash in Kevin Jones. Jenkins Coward shows off the arm, but that gets cut off, and it's 4-0 Wilmington on the sac fly.
Nice piece of hitting by the freshman. Again, knowing the job that he has to do. Got a runner on third base, an easy RBI. All he's got to do is get it into the outfield or score a run, and he does just that. Again, just lifting it out to right. JC does a good job of getting behind it, makes a good firm throw, but no chance to get the Speedy Jones from third base.
So after losing 11-0 in a run rule last Tuesday, to UNC. Wilmington swung the bats well. 13 runs, 9 runs, 10 runs, and 4 tonight. What an infectious week for this offense.
Yeah, you know, and that's what it takes in this game, to get hot and stay hot, roll with your momentum. And right now the Seahawks are doing that, taking full advantage of the two Pirate pitchers they've seen.
It's John Newton's turn. On the other side of it, if you're East Carolina, coming off your first conference series loss, certainly a ton of momentum, but now all of a sudden you face some adversity here in the second inning.
Yeah, no, and it's maybe the effort to regain the momentum, you know, coming off a tough weekend and trying to find yourself. And, you know, sometimes you just got to learn how to win again. And this is a situation where the Pirates have dug themselves a hole with the Seahawks' help. I mean, the Seahawks have been very offensive to this point in the game. Pirates need to settle in and try to give themselves a chance.
Good stop there by Wilcoxon to prevent a wild pitch.
You know, when you got to feel like coming on the air tonight, there was a chance that we would see a pretty high-scoring game, and quite frankly, I still expect it out of both teams because it does kind of shape up to be a Johnny Holstaff bullpen type of night. So this game's got a long ways to go.
That was 8-7 down in Wilmington. What I loved about that game, too, 7th highest attendance in Brooksfield history down at UNCW. You can tell these programs certainly love battling it out. Good crowd on hand here for a early midweek game. That chopper goes foul. It is unique. We're now at the 40% mark of the season. You get a good sense of what these teams have coming in. But the midweeks are a totally different mindset than the weekends.
Yeah, you know, when they're very critical, especially with both of these teams with postseason aspirations and specifically hosting, you know, a lot of RPI to be gained out of these games, and both teams want to win them. And look, this rivalry goes back. I mean, as you mentioned earlier, there's 130 games played in this series going back to the CAA and before. So a lot of water under the bridge between these two clubs historically.
And Trevor Marsh's last time up, he did not miss this pitch.
No, you know, and again, we talked about it a little bit with Kaler and quite frankly with all pitchers. If you don't have dominant stuff and you just can't miss your spots, and Kaler did have issues locating tonight, led to a very short outing, and Eric Ritchie has found an out, but really struggling to find these next two. Pretty good opening breaking ball there for him.
After issuing the walk, he flips it a nice one to Marsh, who has even splits, right versus left. Pretty impressive for the sophomore out of Asheboro. It's not just the zoo worth seeing in that city. It's a good hitter here in Trevor Marsh, too. I'm a big giraffe guy myself.
Are you? Would that be your favorite animal? Would that be a spirit animal or just the animal that you like?
I do have a long neck. I see what you're saying.
I see, yeah, okay.
Instead, 2 on with 1 out.
You know, when you watch Marsh, and he's a little active in the box, maybe a little more active than maybe you'd like to see, but obviously no problem getting to that last one and hitting 356, so it's what works for him.
Has 18 career home runs with his 6 tonight. That time, though, goes down swinging. Good pitch from Eric Ritchie.
Yeah, good breaking ball there. He saw it kind of bookend breaking balls to Marsh and retires him for the second out of the inning. Here it is again. You see it nice. Nice kind of horizontal move, not as much vertical movement on that breaking pitch, but enough to get Marsh to swing through it for strike 3.
Eric Ritchie, who entered this year as a top 20 draft prospect in the American Athletic Conference. A draft-eligible junior making his way on the mound, pitching out of some trouble.
You know, if I can tell you, too, this is a huge out, obviously, with 2 outs in the inning, runners on first and second, but more importantly, the dangerous, very dangerous Thatch on deck.
This is Alec DiMartino, who already singled today. Wilmington in the Elon series specifically, we noted the 2 games scoring 10 or more. As a team, UNC Wilmington hit 400 with men in scoring position in a 3-game series.
It's pretty impressive.
That's Hall of Fame numbers, and that's with runners on, too. So 1-1 stays outside. DiMartino, he's been up and down in these spots, and you talk to the Wilmington coaching staff. They've adjusted him throughout the order. He'll sit in the 3-hole today. He's hitting 4 different spots in the lineup. Looking to extend a big inning here for Wilmington. And now the count's even.
You know, you had to think that, I mean, Ritchie, that's a quality pitch there, kind of bottom of the zone. making quality pitches here is huge, again, with Thatch on deck.
Ritchie's 2-2 is fought off. Worth noting, last year, Eric Ritchie, in 20 appearances, he did not allow an extra base hit. That was his strength as a situational reliever. He's inherited some trouble. He's given up now 2 hits and a walk, looking to escape this second inning. And he just might. There's Barini, and that's the 3rd out. UNC Wilmington adds 2 more to its lead, and a quick start for the Seahawks, with East Carolina up next. Welcome back to Greenville, where 10th-year head coach Cliff Godwin, he wants to lead his program back to a regional and the 4-time AAC Coach of the Year. He noted overcoming some adversity with a series loss at UTSA and how important a midweek game like this can be for his program gearing up for UAB this weekend.
No doubt, looking to build that winning tradition back, get back on the right side of the win-loss column, and carry that into conference play this weekend. Both teams looking to do the same thing.
Cliff Godwin noted the race to 11 games, dividing the season into 5 spurts of 11. Tonight begins that 3rd race, believe it or not. 7-4 for the Pirates in their first 11, then 9-2 in their most recent stretch. Now they begin what you'd call Act 3 of a 5-act play. And Bristol Carter will work ahead in the count.
You know, when East Carolina does that, a lot of programs will do that in an effort to stay focused, as even towards the point of the game. Try to play 3 3-inning games and make sure you win all 3, and try to break the thing into smaller bites, and kind of keeps focus, keeps the guys in the game a little bit more, and that's a big push with the Pirates and Pirate staff.
So Bristol Carter works way ahead in the count. Remember, this is the first start for Matt Gaither this year. He's pitched twice, but has not thrown since March 5th against Boston College. And that one's not even close. A 5-pitch walk to begin the inning.
Historically, you never know, as long as Cliff Godwin's been the head coach and running the offense down at third base, you never know what might happen with the Pirates. It'd be interesting to see. I know chasing 4, but I don't think he's going to change his style of play much. Be interesting to see what they try to do with the speedy Bristol Carter against a left-handed pitcher that hasn't had a ton of innings this year.
To your point, this Pirate offense, top 12 in the country in sac flies and sac bunts. They love the small ball here in Greenville. Wilmington, we're aware of that with some pickoffs. And now you have the golden hour. This is the golden sunset hour, Mike. If you want to get some photography coming in, now's the time to do it. Look at the sights here in Greenville. This is amazing. Baseball heaven. As Wilcoxon fights one off. Justin Wilcoxon, the senior who grew up in Raleigh at nearby Millbrook High School. Had a good series down at UTSA, hit a home run in that decisive Game 3. Starting his 135th game of his East Carolina career. That time, though, he went around for strike 2.
Yeah, the biggest challenge with Wilcoxon right now is trying to clean up some things, some lapses defensively, and he's come around offensively, certainly. He kind of hits them in bunches. He's had a couple multi-hit home run games, but you'll see him here offer at a pitch and kind of in between wanting to hold it and let it fly. Gets caught with strike 2.
This is the first home game here in Greenville since daylight savings, and you really get a sense of how nice this park is this time of the year. Not only 5,000 plus, but great sunlight. 2 good offensive teams battling it out early in Wilmington with 2 home runs in the first 2 innings.
You know, we were kind of surprised between innings at the efficiency of Gaither in the first, only having thrown 12 pitches and really threw some, other than the one kind of hanging breaking ball to Jenkins Coward, threw some really impressive, well-located pitches and seems to have kind of lost it a little bit here.
His 2-2 is working well up and in for the strikeout of Justin Wilcoxon.
Yeah, kind of sneaks that one back, Wilcoxon.
You see him giving an adjustment to his teammates. Chaz Myers there after the K.
Next up, first baseman, number 27, Chaz Myers.
You see, just top of the strike zone, well-located fastball there, and you know we've kind of seen him on both sides of the spectrum here in this inning, but that was enough to get Wilcoxon to offer at it for strike 3.
So Chaz Myers, who we noted, is only making his 3rd start of the season. He has not been in the starting lineup since a midweek game on February 20th. That was at Campbell. Last year at the University of Pacific, full-time starter, 47 games in the West Coast Conference. Good week for West Coast Conference basketball. Gonzaga on both the men's and women's side heading to the Sweet 16.
Yeah, all Gonzaga does is win postseason basketball games.
If you stayed up till 1 a.m. like me, you watched Gonzaga beat Utah in the women's tournament last night. What a time in March. Great college baseball, elite basketball right now. Yeah.
I will have to be honest with you, I missed that one, but I will take your word for it.
Well, bedtimes are important.
Yeah.
Have a good balance. How about the women's game? Juju Watkins at SC, Caitlin Clark at Iowa. There's some not only fantastic talent, but great personalities to follow. Kim Mulkey and her fight, not only with her team in the Sweet 16 run, but talking to reporters. She's always entertaining. And you have 2 class acts here in Greenville. Randy Hood, longtime assistant, now in his 5th year, and the 10-year veteran Cliff Godwin. This will certainly help Cliff Godwin. Chaz Myers into the corner, and a 2-run shot for the Pirates.
You'll notice Chaz, that was a no-doubter off the bat. He hits that one and even takes a quick second to appreciate his work and drives that ball, quite frankly, over the crowd in the jungle, into the trees back there for a 2-run shot.
Chaz Myers earning his keep in the lineup with this swing.
Yeah, no doubter again, takes a quick peek at it. Not enough to cause any controversy, and the fans in the jungle watch it fly over their heads. That was a line drive.
Oh my gosh, look at that beautiful sunset. I think that ball might have hit the sun. Incredible shot tonight, and now it's a 2-run game. We told you offense could be the story coming in.
Well, and the staple of a post-home run next hitter for Cliff Godwin is a guy that shows drag and an effort to catch the defense, still kind of admiring the home run. So you see Barini come up, squares twice, and takes it to a 1-1 count, but still don't tell him what Barini may do here.
Reigning second-team All-AAC selection, Joey Barini, the senior. And he'll work ahead in the count.
Well, that'll breathe a little, that home run breathe a little life back into the fans here who were maybe a little punch drunk with the way the Seahawks came out. But again, this thing's got a chance to be a slugfest all the way.
And Barini in the 3-1 count. He had a great weekend at UTSA. Hits in all 3. Drove in 4. And all of a sudden, this crowd reignited here in Greenville. That sneaks past the pitcher. What an effort, but just late from Dobos, and everyone's safe.
Barini with a well-placed single, kind of off the end cap, through the wickets of the pitcher, and nice play by the second baseman to knock it down in an effort to make the throw. You'll see it here. Just kind of gets it off the end of the bat, well, right behind him. I thought it went between his legs initially, and second baseman makes a play. That'd been an incredible throw if he were to complete that. But
the athleticism of Dobos there just to knock that down.
Nice effort there. Yep, out of the freshman. And that'll bring the skipper Randy Hood up. It looks like the Seahawks have a left-handed woman in their pen as well.
Randy Hood, the longtime pitching specialist as an assistant, now leads the staff, and a pitching change coming here for UNCW.
Neither team get to wait around a whole long time tonight. I think, again, the plan was probably multiple guys and several guys to throw tonight for both clubs, and both teams feeling like no need to let this thing build any momentum for either side, and let's take advantage of these guys we have down here ready to go.
Really efficient first inning for Matt Gaither, but in some trouble now in the second as UNC Wilmington heads to the pen. Here is Apex native Case Stroop out of the bullpen, a Pitt Community College transfer, spending a lot of time close here in Greenville, and now comes in looking to get some big outs. He pitched 14 games last year. He's been a situational reliever this year, and Mike, now in an offensive-minded game, inherits a tough spot.
Yeah, no, actually, if he's a Brunswick Community College graduate, but out of the junior college system, the state system, and there are a number of Pitt Community College players, Lenore Community College players, all represented, on the Seahawks club. But Case, a player from down at Brunswick, played for Robbie Allen, great program down there. They've had great success, and yeah, be interesting to see how he takes this opportunity to come in and quiet down this Pirate offense. It seems they've got it going a little bit.
Great point. His last appearance against North Carolina gave up a hit, did not record an out against UNC, and he had success against ECU 2 weeks ago on March 12th, 3 innings of one-run ball. But the way the wind's blowing out tonight, the way his teams are swinging the bats, I would be very surprised if 4-2 is our final score.
Oh yeah, no, we got there'll be lots more runs scored tonight. It's this tends to be a fun one. Good night to maybe have a little something on the grill and a beverage in your hand and just sit back and watch offensive baseball. This is one that even the casual observer, will enjoy this with lots of offense.
Well, thanks for joining us here on ESPN Plus with Mike Mullis. I'm Evan Budrovich. A rematch of an extra inning game from 2 weeks prior. And here's Dixon Williams, the hometown Greenville native.
Stroop comes in, fires out 87 under the hands, and Dixon thinks it might be a little in. Umpire disagrees and goes back to work, 0-1.
Williams very patient after only starting 2 games last year, earning the full-time nod this year on the infield.
You know, Dixon's the guy that Coach Godwin has described as kind of being a tough luck guy. He's hit a lot of balls hard with not a ton to show for, but it is coming around. He's starting to get some to fall.
Good pitch running inside there from the reliever, Casey Stroop. And he faces a hitter right here in Dixon who has mixed ties. His dad, Toby, was a golfer at UNC Wilmington. Between the teal and the purple, it'll be a fun family dynamic at the Williams household tonight, right here in the heart of Greenville.
I feel confident. I know who the Dixon family's cheering for right now without a question.
As their son fouls one off. These
I
are always
Dixon,
neat moments.
the Williams family. I said the Dixon family, but the Williams family. I feel pretty sure Toby and Mom, they're fired up to see their son play against the Seahawks.
Gives you a sense of how much these two programs are intertangled. Not only 140-plus meetings, but a lot of in-state history. So the 1-2's out to right center. This ball will stay in the yard, and a collision. Oh, we got a catch in right. The runner was confused, and a double play.
Yeah, I'll tell you what I think we had right there, Ev, is that you have the catch, but if you'll notice the center fielder's sunglasses fell off his hat, and I'm going to be willing to bet you that the runner thought that when he saw the glasses fall that was the ball that was falling.
Well, a lot just happened right there, but what an effort from DiMartino in right to hang on to the baseball. And this ends the inning on a double play. So a lot just happened in this last half inning, and Mike, I think you were spot on. This collision in center caused a lot of confusion.
Yeah, and you see stuff goes flying everywhere between hats and sunglasses, and I will tell you what drew me to that immediately is, ironically, I saw that exact same play this past week in high school baseball where sunglasses fell off a hat and they thought it was a drop ball. So anyway, a little confusion there, and just enough to make a great throw and double up Rainey at first base.
Alec DiMartino gets out of that threat. Now the power-hitting Tanner Thatch digs in. Right now, Thatch, he is among the nation's leaders, top 5 in home runs in the country and top 10 in RBI.
Pirates have such an increased opportunity to win this ball game if they continue to face Thatch with the bases empty.
Thatch, who ripped into a double play last time, hits one hard into the shift, and there's the first out. It's a lineup, statistically speaking, it's kind of Thatch or bust, but today it's been the complementary pieces stepping up.
Yeah, no, you've had other guys that have answered the bell, and, you know, the scary part is Thatch is now 0 for 2 on the night. You have to feel like you're not going to hold him hitless. I mean, you know, it's a possibility that you do, but, you know, it's a situation as the game wears on, it becomes more and more critical. Great hitters hit, right? So he's going to have opportunities to rain tonight. We're only in the top of the third.
Brian Arndt now digs in. This is a Wilmington club that's 0-3 against ranked teams. Coastal, UNC, and of course East Carolina. They've had mixed results, 1-5 in the midweeks, but really good on the weekend sets, including their most impressive series of the year, putting up double figures twice over Elon a couple of days ago. Also won its series opener in the conference. And they dominated Charlotte, who has now moved into the American this year, won 2 of 3. Arndt pops one out of play. You talked to Randy Hood, though, and he said it was the first loss to Charlotte that was a turning moment for this team. Lost 21-10 on Friday. Then come back and run rule Charlotte the next day. What a mental recovery ability to bounce back there.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of the game and really baseball, where you can have a short memory, forget yesterday's efforts and get back at it today, be good or bad.
Good stab by Dixon Williams, who fires the second out. This is an area here in Greenville that's always been good defensively, but right now, though, the power, Jack Kroom adding the second home run for UNCW.
Yeah, he got all that one, only his third on the year, hitting .265, but manages to lift that offering over the right field fence, and off to a hot start for Kroom for the night.
He got a taste of East Carolina spring football practice going on just out there in right.
Yeah.
Put some pads on Jack Kroom. That bat had some pop to it as he laughs after that last pitch. Kroom led UNC Wilmington in batting average a year ago. He's had a down season by numbers so far, but still impactful for the New Hanover kid, Wilmington product.
When you have a guy, too, that has led your team in offense, you fully expect that he's going to find it at some point, and I'm sure that's what Coach Hood and the staff are hoping to see out of Kroom.
Kroom did not play in the Elon series, but what a moment to step right back up. He now has hits in 8 of his last 9. A home ballpark that is so rowdy and raucous at times. They've been a little subdued by this hot start from Wilmington with the 2-out walk.
And I think some of it is just kind of breath holding as we watch these fans try to figure out where does the bullpen go next, knowing that there's already a little activity down there, and how long can Richie go, and kind of this is going to be a game like we've said multiple times. Going to be lots of changes made tonight. Going to be interesting to see how both clubs manage this thing as we kind of go down the line here.
A lot of mental gymnastics here at the nearly halfway point of the season, and Kevin Jones watches a strike. Kevin earned his 6th double of the year. That's an area Wilmington's been really good offensively. Virginia leads the country, 75 doubles coming in.
And if I'm not mistaken, Kevin had his first home run of the season this past weekend in that sweep of Elon.
The bats were clicking on all cylinders for UNCW.
I know Gary Smith and Ryan Meadows, the crowd at North Community College, is very proud of this young man. They take a lot of pride, we all do, in our guys that we've had an opportunity to coach, and see them to go on to have both baseball and personal success, and have families and become dads. It's a great part of the trade. It's one of the fringe benefits of being a coach.
With your ties here in the Greenville and Pitt Community County area, I always appreciate your perspective, Mike, because you're right. There are so many inbred players between these two, 40 combined North Carolinians on the two rosters, and a lot of local kids on this half of the state. With some tension over there.
Yeah, Richie going to keep them close and keep that force at second base in order. Yeah, interestingly enough, just got word from the production booth that 2 of the folks in production tonight are a couple of Coach Smith's former high school players at New Bern High School. And Coach Smith's had quite a career, spent time at Providence High School in Charlotte, then went to New Bern, and I had the opportunity to coach against him in Legion Ball, one of the very best guys, and now doing a great job with the Lenore Community College Lancers along with Ryan Meadows.
A very proud baseball state, where 5 programs are ranked in the top 25 right now in North Carolina alone, and double-figure programs are in the top 100 in RPI as we sit halfway through the season. Just incredible for the state.
Yep. We kind of get used to it because we live here, but the quality of the game in this area is incredible.
A quality pitch there from Eric Ritchie as well to end the inning. Good offensive battle here in Greenville. UNC Wilmington up 2.
We call it drive. The unrelenting desire to become the person you were born to be. Ignited by a moment. The realization that a future you could only dream of is within reach. At East Carolina University, you won't just imagine a path. You'll forge one through hard work and the success that comes without surrender. The journey that leads to your future. And this is where it begins.
Welcome back to Greenville, where UNC Wilmington's had an up-and-down start to the year. Fantastic series against Elon a few days ago, but 3 quality losses. Coastal Carolina, UNC, and of course ECU. This is a Wilmington team that won the CA tournament a year ago. They had a stretch of 5 of the last 6 years making a regional. Maybe not a perennial power of UNC Duke or, in this case, East Carolina, but a Wilmington team that's always a tough out.
No, look, I will say, I don't know what your definition of perennial power is, and that kind of varies with.
Oh, nice running catch against the wall there from Marsh.
In mid-thought, I'm watching that ball fly out there. That was Cunningham gave that one quite a ride. But again, a great catch by the center fielder Marsh. But UNCW is always right there, Ev. You know, they again, maybe not quite at the level of the other programs that you mentioned, but a program that shows up that will play anybody, as evidenced by this year's schedule, and will give every team a fit.
Have been to 3 regional finals in the last decade. A ton of talent under Coach Mark Scoff, and of course now Randy Hood taking over, longtime assistant. Coach Hood will continue with Case Strop out of his bullpen. Here's Jacob Jenkins Coward, who doubled his first time up. And he's continued to take in steps from a breakout freshman year, then last year all AAC, and this season hitting .375. Some big jumps here in year 3.
You know, when last year kind of a down year, he had the tough injury, and he himself said, you know, he maybe came back a little early from that injury, maybe wanted to play so bad. Wow, he smokes that ball. Great play by the third baseman. But he wanted to play so bad, you know, that he kind of maybe put himself in a compromised position. But this year, been a lot more the JJC that the Pirate faithful is used to seeing. And again, just indicative there. Good at bat his first at bat. That one, solid AB, hit right at the third baseman in the shift. But yeah, you're right. JJC off to a great start this year.
Yeah, the only thing getting him out tonight is good defense from Wilmington. So here with 2 come by, Jacob Starling looks to extend this inning. Jacob smokes one to left center, and there's a base hit. So in his 157th game in the purple and gold, he gets a 2-out single.
Yeah, what a career for Starling, and you know, just another in a long line of hits. And this year hasn't been what he wanted. Maybe that'll be the swing to get him on track, but good swing on actually a pretty quality pitch down the zone, and single to show for it.
So Starling's now 3 for 5 in his 2 games against Wilmington. He's having a great breakout midweeks. Ryan McChrystal, who slides into the DH spot, now hits with 2 outs.
You know, McChrystal, another one of these Pirate bats that hasn't quite gotten it going on the power side. Now, that's hard to say when he's hitting .386, but a guy that you kind of expect double-digit homers, and being where we're at in the season, you would think there would be a couple more, along with a couple more RBI up there. But a guy that can get hot and go a long ways towards carrying this team, and kind of on cue, a little cue shot to left field to advance the runner to second. Runners on first and second now.
So McChrystal with the 5th Pirate hit of the night. We've already seen 3 combined homers and then some effectively placed baseballs. It's got to be a tough night to pitch tonight, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's just you've kind of alluded to it multiple times. It's a midweek game, right? And it's just going to be have a little bit of a different feel. But McChrystal, you know, stays inside that ball nicely, muscles it out into left field, and brings up to the plate. But to me, one of the most exciting players on the Pirate roster in the freshman Bristol Carter.
Carter hits one hard to Jones. Nice recovery to end the inning. UNC Wilmington gets out of another jam here in the third, keeping a 2-run lead.
It's number 40.
Two longtime rivals, East Carolina and UNCW, continue to battle it out. They've actually split the last 6 meetings between these two, including some recent postseason history. Back in 2018, Wilmington scored 9 runs in a 5th inning to beat the Pirates in extras. But certainly when these two teams meet, there's always good tradition. It goes back 50 years, and two nearby programs that love playing each other this time of year.
You know, when earlier I said 140 roughly meetings, almost 150. That's pretty incredible. I would think that's got to be up there with one of the longer running series in college baseball.
Have some ties in the CAA together back in the day, and now of course Wilmington still in the Coastal Athletic Association, newly named East Carolina. A 4-time run of successive championships in the AAC. Good breaking ball in there.
Yeah, that's a fairly well-received strike by the Pirate faithful. Maybe a little down for Novobilski, but 1-1 count.
Novobilski singled his first time up and was able to tip one foul. Remember, Eric Ritchie's pitching on pretty short rest. He threw 50 pitches just 2 days ago, and right now at 40+. This may be his last inning.
Yeah, and he's done an admirable job to come into the situation that he inherited and get the Pirates, a couple quality innings. So I'm sure they'd love to see him get through this one, but it looks like a couple of his friends down the pen are getting loose and ready to go in case they're needed.
Novobilski rips one to right, and all of a sudden the wind changing directions just a bit. That one's knocked down for an out.
You know, going back to the old CAA, if you think about those programs historically and even the success that they're still having with the teams that came out of that there's always been really, really good baseball, and largely because the states that the CAA existed in, when East Carolina was in it, all those states have really good baseball. And you look back to Virginia days, and they're just players pouring out of Chesapeake and that Tidewater area. So it's pretty impressive what the historic CAA teams have done and continue to do in college baseball.
Even with the likes of JMU, Old Dominion leaving, you bring in programs like Campbell, NCA&T having a really good season. A lot of in-state success here in the Carolinas. Right now in the CAA, it's Wilmington at 3-0, Northeastern, a top 50 program. Campbell was in the top 25 up until this week. It's a heavy conference. Good mid-major league.
You know, with Campbell, a really interesting program and team to watch with, kind of the ups and downs. I mean, really, really talented, can beat most anybody, and then has a scuffle this past weekend. It's the nature of the game.
Yeah, dropped 2 of 3 to Delaware in their CA opener. So Wilmington right now all alone at 3-0 in first, and this one's popped up to Starling. As we open league play across many conferences, no team went undefeated in the American. Wichita State, who let Eric Wedge go after 5 years in Wichita, they're 2-1 with a nice series win over UAB. But no team went clean slate. Kind of shows you in college baseball how hard it is to run the table in any conference.
100%. You know, and you talk about Eric Wedge, a guy that played at Wichita State in the College World Series for Lauren Hibbs, and Coach Hibbs ends up at for all those years at UNCC, and so the 6 degrees of separation. And obviously Wedge was the youngest manager at one point in the big leagues with the Indians. And I remember when he was over in Kinston, I had the opportunity to go over and throw BP for them for a year because Wedge had a torn labrum. So a lot of ties. It's funny how the game is. Again, it's kind of like the 6 degrees of separation to Kevin Bacon. There's always a Kevin Bacon. You know, somebody always knows somebody or has a story to tell.
We're all related somehow, especially in the college baseball circles. I got to talk to you more about this throwing BP one of these days. How's that arm cooking, Mike? You still got any innings left in you?
It's not quite what it was.
Top of this Wilmington lineup here in the 4th. A Wilmington team that battled Boston College in the midweek, mixed in with those 3 ranked opponents. A really good schedule for Randy Hood's club. Newton sprays one into the corner. Jenkins Cowart won't have enough space.
You know, and that's one of those outs they would have loved to collect to get in the dugout, and that may be that if that ball's caught, it might have been enough to bring Richie back out, right? You know, just kind of extend his outing. But there are 2 Pirate arms up, and you're right, it might be an absolute pitch count number, and I wouldn't think it'd be much more than 60 if that's the number.
Here's pitch 54. Newton fights it away. How about this 5-week stretch of midweeks for Wilmington? UNC top 20, ECU top 20, Coastal Carolina top 20, NC State now at 22, and then Wake Forest at 12, all in a 5-week stretch.
Yeah, you know, when Carolina coming out of here, the only 2 losses they had until weekend before last against Miami were to the Pirates.
And the Pirate arms showing off with a clean inning. Eric Ritchie on 1 day's rest, really good in 3 innings of work. Two elite all-conference players with longtime ties to these programs are back on the coaching staff. There's Tabor Mongero, who was All-CAA just 2 years ago, and Brian Packard, an elite presence here in Greenville. Neat to see these coaching staffs bringing their former players back on staff.
Yeah, Tabor Mongero, 4-year starter at shortstop for the Seahawk program. His dad, a longtime high school coach. They now run an academy together, and obviously Brian Packard, the former D.H. Conley Viking, and somebody everybody in Pitt County is familiar with. So you had 2 great ones leading these young guys, and pretty cool to see how it just continues to fuel itself.
And those are headshots from today, not their playing days for those at home wondering, those guys look so old to be 18. Good defense here from Wilmington to get things started. That must have been the calling card for both of these teams, each in the top 25 in fielding, and tonight, defense has been really good for Wilmington.
Yeah, I mean, but both teams playing fairly clean to this point. Again, we kind of highlighted that as something that was critical to the success of these programs, not only for tonight but going forward, and something that both staffs take great pride in. So good to see them both play clean.
Chaz Myers goes right after the first pitch, and 2 quick outs for Wilmington. Casey Stroop, who's coming in a tight spot, the Brunswick Community College transfer, and Mike, he has slowed down these ECU bats.
Yeah, and then you go up kind of first pitch swinging out of the gate. Obviously the book on Stroop is that he is a strike thrower, and they are going up looking to work aggressively and hit fastballs and not get buried in counts, and that has resulted in a 2-pitch inning. I would be very surprised to see Barini swing at the first one just to try to extend.
Yeah, as a coach, that would drive you crazy. 3 pitches and 3 outs.
I mean, look, ideally, if you can get through an inning with 4 pitches to each hitter, that is ideal. He stared at 4 pitches to get 3 outs.
Joey Barini, the 2-year starter at short, has extended his hit streak to 4 games with a single back in the second. He was doubled off on one of the weirder plays you're going to see, a collision in the outfield, and Barini was caught in no man's land.
Yeah, there you see the effort of the catcher to bring that one back to the strike zone from the bottom of the zone, and kind of a different school of thought that maybe folks that played back in maybe my generation, we were a little more catch it and hold it. We did frame a little bit, but it was be better at sticking the pitch, and now these catchers work ground up.
Is a new art in college baseball.
Sure is.
How about this? A 6-pitch inning. Very efficient for UNC Wilmington. 4 innings in, we got plenty of offense tonight with the Seahawks up 2. North Carolina and South Carolina, great states for college baseball. Now, these are the RPI rankings. National rankings, there's 5 in the top 25. But overall, Mike, you look at the state right now, if you're in the top 70 in RPI, you're probably making the NCAA tournament. There are a slew of teams competing for tournament bids this year.
Yeah, and UNCW at 118, just on the outside, they started the season in the top 70. I think they were 67 out of the gate. So, RPI is a calculation of kind of your schedule, your wins versus your opponents, and then your opponent's wins, and then your opponent's wins. So it goes basically 3 levels deep, and that'll have a lot of fluctuation as the season goes on, but pretty indicative of how good baseball is in the state when you have that strong RPI.
Right now, number 15, East Carolina to its pen. Aaron Grawler comes out of the pen and gives up a base hit. Trevor Marsh is having a nice day, a home run and a single here to kickstart the 5th.
Yeah, Grawler out there, he's he's the young man. He had some struggles in San Antonio in the Saturday night game, and he would probably love to come in and settle in and find some easy outs and kind of find that confidence again that has made him a good arm for the Pirates out of the pen.
The Seton Hall transfer Probably frustrated his former program didn't make March Madness this year. They were one of the last teams out. And there's another base hit for Alec DiMartino. So Wilmington swinging the bats well. 8 hits tonight. And these midweek games, Mike, you know this as a coach, not only can boost your RPI, but give you a huge bump into the weekends.
Well, and I think that has a lot to do with the RPI that you saw there in that last graphic. Here we see the single pull through the left side, the 5.5 hole, as Tony Gwynn used to call it. But part of the RPI advantage is these teams play each other, so it bolsters everybody's RPI as they kind of beat up on each other in these midweek contests.
You saw Clemson at #1. How about their series overcoming Florida State 3 different times with huge comebacks?
Pretty impressive, and nobody better in the country at the time when Florida State goes into Clemson, and obviously Clemson bested them for the series. So, really impressive. You're right, really impressive series win by Eric Bakich and the Clemson Tigers. Nick Schnabel, obviously from East Carolina ties, and not to forget Link Jarrett at Florida State, former East Carolina assistant coach and head coach at UNC Greensboro. So again, lots of ties. It's the 6 degrees game again.
And tonight Duke is battling Campbell in state. Duke won that matchup 11-1. Kind of shows you how much good baseball is being played on a nightly basis here in the midweeks. And then now you have one of the most powerful hitters in the country, Tanner Thatch, checking in. He's 0 for 2 so far.
And that's what scares you. You'd rather face him if he was 2 for 2 right now, because he'd be due to get out. In this situation, you feel like.
Hits it into the shift for 1. Just late on the double play.
Yeah, good turn there. You kind of a scary moment there where he comes up, and again, he's not had a hit tonight, and you feel like he's going to get one. And nice play there by middle infield defense to at least collect a sure out, and just a little bit late on Thatch at first. It's kind of lost if you look at his size, his power, his RBI. I mean, not at all a bad runner. Got down the line pretty good, especially for a young man of his size.
And now Cliff Godwin comes out. It was a good relief appearance from Aaron Grawler, and then Eric Ritchie specifically getting to this inning.
Yeah, Eric Ritchie, much better outing than Grawler. That the 2 quick hits for Grawler kind of dictated things. His middle infield defense bailed him out a little bit, but I don't think Coach Godwin likes to match up, and he's made the call to the pen, so we'll get another Pirate arm.
We'll take the time out here. Pitching change in the 5th as this battle continues when we come back. One of the most relied upon relievers in the country, Danny Beal, makes his 14th appearance of the year. The All-AAC reliever from a year ago comes in. The senior's been heavily relied upon in high-leverage spots this year. Coming up on 85 career appearances, and now Beal inherits a tight situation.
Yeah, 14 appearances in 22 ball games. Everybody in the stadium here is more than familiar with Danny Beal, and he's kind of shows you 2 different arm angles, and his. My thought is he's in here to kind of try to sink that thing and see if he can't get a ground ball double play to get out of this inning. But interestingly enough, it looks like again we expected Johnny Holstaff, and the Pirates have somebody else up tossing. So we'll see if this is strictly a matchup situation or exactly how long the Pirates will go with Danny.
Danny Beal, preseason All-AAC, and he's been really good, especially in situational relief appearances. And right now, Coach Cliff Godwin leaning on his top reliever. 3 2/3 scoreless in the Liberty series. last time here in this park. And picked up a big save in that 14-10 win over UTSA. But you're right, runners in scoring position. This is probably a get out of harm's way and escape this inning.
Yeah, got a right-hander on deck, so they'll go right. And like I said, when Danny's at his best, he's sinking that ball and gives you a chance to get that ground ball double play.
On a picture-perfect night here in Greenville. 148th matchup all-time, a series that dates back to the days as junior colleges, the days as CAA members, and now this interconference matchup. Brian Arndt up, and he goes right after a sweeping slider.
You know, it's impressive how these relievers, as much as they're utilized, keep themselves in shape, trust their routine. See the big breaking ball there, kind of drop down slot from Danny Bill. But what they have to do to keep themselves ready to pitch every day is so routine oriented, and you know, eating the right things, doing it to sleep, all these things that go into, you know, being available to your team.
Now a squeeze bunt attempt, but the runner from third does not go home. So instead, the second out of the inning. Probably more location on that bunt that cost UNC Wilmington a run.
Yeah, no question. And Danny Bill, I mean, a reasonable athlete on the mound. I mean, some people give pitchers a hard time, but you see it here. He recognizes, bounces right off. Pretty easy to field the high chopper. Quick look to third base and able to collect the out. Runner advances to second, so that does keep the Seahawks out of the double play with runners on second, third with 2 outs. But nice play, PFP kind of situation there by Danny Bill, fielding the spot and collecting the out.
2 outs now for Jack Kroom. And that's where Wilcoxon will be very important behind the plate. Have multiple pass balls in the UTSA series. The 2-year starting catcher back there. Cliff Godwin, though, entrusting his confidence, noting this week he loves the effort of a starting catcher back there. Just a couple of tough mistakes. Anytime, though, he hangs on to it.
You know, if you remember back to the last time these two teams got together, kind of ironically, Danny Bill had a play that threw a ball away that cost the Pirates a run. So he wants nothing more than to come in, a little shot at redemption, pitch a perfect clean inning, and 2 outs in the inning, chance to get the Pirates back on offense.
The Wilmington offense that has led by the homer tonight. 2 in the first, 2 more in the second. Nothing to speak of it since, after a solid relief appearance from Eric Ritchie, where he goes 3 innings of 1-run ball. Now the 2-1. And this is an arm who's top 10 in the country in relief appearances. Danny Beal, he's thrown in over half the games this year for the Pirates. And an arm they have a ton of trust in this spot.
Yeah, the 2 runners on are, they belong to Growler, and Danny Bill wants to bail his teammate out.
Now the 2-2. They'll force the count full. Kroom had one of those big home runs back in the second inning. The Wilmington team 0-3 against ranked opponents this year. They've played them all tight in the midweeks. Knocking on the door here in the 5th before Beal's payoff pitch. Line to center, and that ends the inning. Danny Beal, Mr. Reliable here in Greenville, North Carolina, escapes the threat in the 5th. Welcome back to Greenville, East Carolina this year, having sponsors for all of their home games and donations to help out nearby Maynard's Children's Hospital. And tonight, Carter Cunningham is a player to keep an eye on, one of the best hitters in the American Athletic and in the country. He'll hit second this inning, and Dixon Williams will lead things off. Such a neat way to give back to the local community here in Greenville.
Pretty impressive thing that Carter came up with and spearheaded, and by no accident, Coach Galwood jumps on it, sponsors the first game. So just a testament again to how these guys are I say raised, but that's kind of one of the responsibilities you take as a coach there, how they're being raised both athletically and off the field and accepting of their responsibility and appreciating their influence. So pretty cool thing by these guys.
It's a Greenville program that's always shown tremendous fan support, and these players giving back when they can. Right now, though, it's a tight game, 4-2. Wilmington has 2 home runs, and then East Carolina, Chaz Myers getting the spot start, homered in the second inning for the Pirates. Now Dixon Williams goes down swinging to start the 5th.
Stroop has pretty well been in control. We saw last inning a 6-pitch inning, and they're a 3-pitch AB and located pretty nicely, and frustrates Dixon a little bit further as he strolls back to the dugout. But the Pirates going to have to do something to figure out the lefty here for the Seahawks.
Here's the aforementioned Carter Cunningham, 17 career home runs off a fantastic week at UTSA. In that Wilmington matchup, he helped prompt the comeback, scored 3 runs, including a rally in the 10th inning to pull off a wild 8-7 win.
Pitch behind him.
Did that hit?
I say it hit.
He must have.
He's gonna take the opportunity and trot down. This may be reviewed. Let's see if that brings somebody out. Yeah, it looks like Coach Hood's questioning that a little bit. Maybe not enough to come out and review it, but I can't really tell from that angle. But we'll see with the best camera crew in the business. I'm sure they'll give us one. Hard to tell from there, and that is going to bring Hoodie out to have a talk with the home plate umpire, and they may take a look at this.
Good chance for Randy Hood to get some help from the first base umpire.
Yeah, and they can
some other views.
And I'm not sure on this if this is reviewable. That seems to be kind of a moving target on what's reviewable and what's not reviewable. And but that's kind of what you teach your hitters to do. At least act like it hit you and let them make a decision on whether or not it actually did.
So a couple more angles coming up as Jimmy Paler and his crew ask each other for help. Okay, they are going to review this officially.
If it got him, it grazed him. It certainly didn't catch anything flush.
There's no bruises tomorrow.
Yeah, it may have been just enough. Maybe one. Here we go. This may be the look that we've been looking for. It looks like a changeup grip there in the glove, so that's even better. If I'm going to get hit by one, I don't want to get hit by the heater. If it hit him, it literally just grazed his left pocket on the way by. But we'll see what the umpires come up with. I don't know. I think no different than the standard of every other replay. It's got to be enough to overturn it. So
this angle may help us out a little bit. A change of direction there.
I think.
Remember, calling the field is a hit by pitch.
Yeah, and I think that's the big thing, Ev, is I don't know that they'll have enough to change it either way. And that's something that the Pirates take pride in, is staying in the batter's box and, taking the opportunity to get the free base. And that's when it kind of looks like if Carter just kind of holds his ground, that ball just glances off of his rear end there on the right side. But, kind of hard to fight human nature, too.
That would be the 32nd time East Carolina gets hit this year if this call stands. Yeah, there's that fight or flight instinct in a lot of programs like East Carolina, like Campbell in the state. They are known for getting hit by pitches. It is a pride point, if you will.
Yeah, nobody more than Campbell, I don't think. But if you come out to a practice at Clark LeClaire Stadium, you hear them award points for toughness, for things like that, where you'll have a run column, but the hits column may have 54 to 42 in it. There wasn't that many hits. Those are points that are being rewarded for hard 90s, which is an effort through first base. There'll be points awarded for a hit by pitch without rubbing it and heading down to first. So all the little things that make great programs.
As the umpires now come out with our final verdict, What do you got for us, Judge Jimmy Paler? Okay, the call stands.
Stay right there. Again, even if it wasn't right, I don't think there was enough to change it. So Cunningham will stay at first, and Jenkins Cowart will stroll to the plate with 1 out.
So here comes the tying run. A powerful Jacob Jenkins Cowart.
He's hit 2 balls hard tonight, only 1 hit to show for, but that, the bullet he hit at the third baseman who's back in the shift playing basically just left of the standard shortstop position, but he's hit the ball well twice tonight.
A hitter you must be careful against. Jacob Jenkins Cowart leads this team with 13 multi-hit games, including a breakout 3-hit game down in Wilmington just 2 weeks ago.
When JC gets it going, he drives the ball in that left center gap as good as anybody.
Drives it right that direction. A 1-out knock for Jacob Jenkins Cowart. Runners are moving, and Cunningham in the third base.
Yeah, that's when JC's locked in, that's what you get out of him. A lot of balls hit really hard that way, and you've seen him hit one in the right center gap tonight, and 2 that way. The last one, nothing to show for it. This one, right back in the vacated spot from the shift. So good piece of hit by JC. Take a hit, pass the torch, get your buddy to third base, and pass it on down to Jacob Starling.
And now Randy Hood to make a pitching change here for UNC Wilmington.
Just shows you how fragile it is. Stroop seemed to really be in command. Kind of got away from him against Jenkins Cowart, and it looks like that's going to be the end of his night.
All of a sudden, this midweek matchup's taking a turn here in the 5th. And we'll step aside for just a moment. New pitcher coming in for the Seahawks as Case Stroop takes the breather here in the 5th. Nearby Winterville products. Trace Baker comes in out of the UNC Wilmington bullpen just 10 minutes down the street here from Greenville, and now Baker inherits a tight spot here in the 5th inning.
Yeah, another leverage position, kind of both teams just kind of back and forth applying pressure, and it's kind of the bend but don't break, and now the Pirates with runners on first and third with 1 out.
Trace Baker, who's been relied upon in some big spots this year for Wilmington. Just over 8 innings. He played at Catawba Valley Community College just last year. And coming off a scoreless inning in the Elon series, he's facing an ECU offense that has been productive with the 6 hits, but haven't found the big hits tonight with runners on.
Yet another one of these products for UNCW out of the local community college system. And people maybe don't understand, but the community college system plays in the NJCAA, so the National Junior College Athletic Association, and some really good teams, nationally ranked teams that have been to the World Series in Grand Junction and Enid, Oklahoma, and different places. So Randy Hood taking great advantage of the feeder program that community colleges provide.
JUCO transfer coming in. And of course, Brunswick Community College has national tournament appearances down the street from Wilmington. Pitt Community College here in this local area. A lot of good baseball at all levels. And here's Jacob Starling, the senior. Big swing there from Starling.
90-mile-an-hour fastball in on the hands. The Wilmington staff has proven that they will absolutely pitch inside on both sides of the plate. It's, you know, one of those things that the Pirate hitter's going to have to adjust to.
Starling a 1-for-2 night, snapping his 0-for-10 weekend at UTSA. And more attention to this ECU running game. The Wilmington club searching for their first ranked win, 0-3 against ranked opponents this year. Starling looks to bunt, and at the last minute holds up. I believe that pitch was called a ball, so it's a 1-1 count.
It was. Another one of those situations where, you know, you get the bunt down, keep yourself out of a double play, have an opportunity to score the runner from third, depending on the placement of the bunt. We saw the Seahawks try it in the last half.
Cliff Godwin encouraging this home crowd that's been held in a deficit for most of the night. That time a strike.
You know what's interesting about that is the catcher's kind of moving out. You saw the ball bounce around in his mitt. That's a call that at the Division I level of college baseball you don't typically get. So kind of interesting, maybe a little bit of a makeup call there from the pitch before.
Trace Baker grew up 10 minutes down the street in Winterville. He's inherited a tight jam.
Played at South Central High School, so.
And hold on, that's a delay of game warning on the pitcher.
Well, he stepped off like he was going to give the foe to first base, the foe to kind of toss over. If we can take a look back at that, I think that was his effort to reset the pitch clock.
Umpires conferring.
They're going to have a little chat about it. You see him kind of takes a look, and he's kind of trying to figure out what's going on. Maybe a little break in the communication there and the signs. So he just does the faux throw, and I'm not sure that was quite enough to get it done, but it looks like the umpire is going to let that pass as a
warning,
as a step off and fake throw to first base.
All of a sudden, a little more juice for the fourth-year senior Jacob Starling. Cliff Godwin, one of the most aggressive coaches in college baseball. His offense. They have the home run in the second, but not much else to show for it tonight.
I'll tell you what, with the strike thrower, and it would not surprise me to see him off and running here, maybe a little hit and run.
Starling the other way, and a clutch one-out single.
Yeah, no need to put him in motion, just a clean base hit there. Starling 2 for 2 on the night, and that's something that the Pirates greatly needed, was to see that young man get hot.
All week in conversation, Cliff Godwin praising his senior despite a tough start to his year. That's a big hit.
And we've seen Cliff allow other folks that have earned the privilege and the right to play their way through this going back. I mean, the one that stands out to me was Bryson Morrell a few years ago that started off maybe not exactly where he wanted to be in 2022, 24 games in, he figures it out. And maybe, Starling, we're seeing the same thing happen with him.
A two-hit night for Starling. Now it's Ryan McChrystal. And he's aggressive. Good stab at third. Kroom to first. Double play.
Using the turf there. Nice play, little spinny ball, but Crystal maybe a little too anxious there. Hits into the old 5-3 double play.
UNC Wilmington's defense, 2 impressive double plays tonight. This one escapes the fifth. Your Grady White Boats game summary. Wilmington with those 2 home runs early in the game. Marsh and Kroom getting started. Jacob Starling doing the rally in the 5th inning. And just like we thought, in an in-state matchup with 2 premier teams, the American and the CAA, a 1-run game here in the 6th. Teams that have regional history against one another have tangled twice in the last 5 to 6 years in regionals. And now this final matchup of the regular season between the two.
East Carolina runs Danny Bill back out and extend his inning, hoping he can keep the Seahawks right here.
20 innings of work now for Beal this year. He's one of the most highly used relievers in college baseball coming in. Leads the American Athletic in innings and appearances for a bullpen arm. Gavin Galley of Nichols State, 17 outings this year, none more than that man.
Pretty good pitch there, 85 from that drop down slot, especially after the first 2 pitches, both of which were fairly non-competitive. Danny's got himself back into this count.
Good pitch there on 2-2. The arm slot and the angles that Danny Bill brings reminds me so much of UCLA All-American reliever David Berg, who was sidearm submarine. The Bruins win a national title 10 years ago. And here's Beal forcing weak contact. There's something to Danny Beal. He just finds ways to get out.
Yeah, easy opportunity for Dixon Williams down there. Fields it cleanly, and nice throw right in the chest of Chaz Myers over at first base to collect the first out.
What does this say about a pitcher like Beal, who leads this country in pitching appearances? He's one of the most rubber band arms in baseball to come back on short rest and give his team innings.
Yeah, you know what, and he's a competitive guy. He's a, Danny Bill's a sports guy. He's kind of, it's not just baseball. He's a huge Red Sox, Patriots fan, enjoys the kind of the Northeast teams, but Danny's a competitor first and foremost, and he's happy to do whatever he can to give his club a chance. And I think that goes, both sides, man. That's what these kids are about, and I say kids, young men. That's what these young men are about, is giving everything they've got. They work so hard to get here, and now appreciating the opportunities that they've earned.
Putting the team on his back right now in bullpen efforts. Gives up a sharp liner there from Kevin Novobilski, and there's a 1-out single here in the 6th.
We kind of said something about him hitting 200 coming in, and felt like there was probably a reason he was in the lineup, and he's hit 3 balls sharply tonight with 2 hits to show for it. Here you see him just stay on top of that offering there from Danny Bill and drive it right back through the box.
That's a true freshman who had 6 hits in his career coming into tonight. He's got 2 and was robbed of a 3rd hit his last time up. Goes to show you how things can explode quickly for young players. So Kyle Dobaus, he's from across the state in Waxhaw, North Carolina, Marvin Ridge High School. Part of a pipeline of North Carolinians, 30 plus for head coach Randy Hood, who went to college here in state at Campbell.
Kyle's listed as an infield right-handed pitcher, also a true freshman.
You ever heard a kid in practice who said they were a certain position and then just ran out to wherever they wanted to?
Oh yeah. That's normal, right? Everybody wants to play the premier spots, and when you get to this level, they're all premier.
That's a good swing and a miss. I've heard some great articles throughout the years, read them. Even Elliott Avent noted with his true freshman at NC State, he'll say, hey, play your natural position. Mm-hmm. And they all run to short, they all run to center, and that's you kind of learn and figure it out as they go along.
There's a lot to the recruiting philosophy of kind of recruiting up the middle, where historically in high school your best athletes are going to play, catcher pitch, play short, play center field. So you recruit as many of those athletes as you can, and then figure out where they best fit your program.
Danny Beal back in relief, working on a 3-1 count. Runner takes off, and a hit and run pop fly. That'll result in the 2nd out. I'm interested, Coach, from your perspective, a 3-1 count, really good break. Do you take that pitch intentionally, even if the hit and run's called?
No, the hit and run, your job there as a hitter is to protect that guy. And, you got a freshman at the plate, so the thought being, hey, you're almost forcing him into swinging. You want him to cut his swing down and take an opportunity to put a ball and play hard. He just, hit a fly ball right there. If he hits a ground ball, it looks brilliant. You got first and third. So just one of those deals where, that is your job in that situation.
Brings the top of the lineup in John Newton.
And to kind of finish that thought up, a hit and run is an offensive opportunity, but a lot of times it's an opportunity to keep yourself out of a double play with some offensive upside. So, again, young freshman known first, young freshman at the plate, hit and run, pretty good idea off the strike throwing Danny Beal.
Beal has been real tough to hit in relief appearances this year.
Pretty quality miss there. Whichever way it goes, that's a quality pitch and one that can that you could certainly use to set up the next 2 or 3 pitches.
Beal gave up an unearned run in that back and forth 9th inning to force extras back in Wilmington just 2 weeks ago. That was 1 out away from 2 scoreless here in relief. Wilmington program that's struggled in these close games, 3-6 in 1-run games this year. Right off the end of the bat. And a real close play. Barini goes the short way to end it. UNC Wilmington strands 1. It's East Carolina's turn with Bristol Carter when we come back to Greenville. It's a big month for raising money here in East Carolina, raising money in the fight against ALS. And this program with Bristol Carter leading things off. A tradition across college baseball, but especially here in Greenville, growing out those mustaches and raising over $15,000. The chance to crack the all-time record for money raised here. Certainly a helpful cause and a fun way to enjoy the month of March as there's a base hit for Carter to kickstart the 6th.
Yeah, really good piece of hitting out of the freshman Bristol Carter. Again, I said it earlier, he is a super exciting player, young guy for these Pirates. Stays on that ball, drives it to right field, and leads off with a little bang here. So runner on first, and let's see what the Pirates will do. I have all ideas. We may see an effort to manufacture a run and kind of reset the game.
The talented freshman is on base first. Here's Justin Wilcoxon, the senior catcher. And he goes after the first pitch. Marsh on the move, nice catch. Keeping Wilcoxon in check for the first out. And Chaz Myers, who gets the spot start tonight, he was electric back in the 2nd inning.
Yeah, I mean, he absolutely put a good stroke on this ball, gave it a ride, and cleared all the fans out in the jungle, and kind of got the excitement going. And Chaz Myers, his night off to a hot start.
So Chaz Myers, he won't get an opportunity here, but he was electric early in this game. More of a situational opportunity.
Yeah, so it looks like Cliff will go to the right on left matchup, going to Luke Nowak. Obviously a very speedy runner, great speed on the bases here with Bristol Carter, and a very difficult guy to double up with Luke Nowak.
Nowak, a reigning second-team all-conference selection. Coming off a 288 year, had a really good season as a sophomore, and looks ahead in the count. Luke this year in limited starting action, about half the games this year, hitting 200. More importantly, though, 9 walks to 9 strikeouts. Really good approach at the plate.
Quality pitch there.
Trace Baker, who grew up in Winterville, just down the road from Greenville. And back in his homecoming, he is grinding out of this bullpen for Randy Hood's club. The changeup just misses.
Nowak, nice job there holding the swing.
Runner takes off. Little hit and run grounder that just goes foul. Mike, if that ball stays fair, it might be first and second with 1 out here.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think there's any chance at the rate that ball is hit that the third baseman is going to be able to throw out the speedy Nowak. He's kind of out of the box pretty quickly there. A little bit of Ichiro look there, if you will. But yeah, ball just bounds foul, and third baseman collects it, makes sure no chance it goes back in. And
that's about as much of a slap hitting, if you think of softball, as you'll see in college baseball.
Yep. Like I said, the only one that I could think of that's, the poster boy for it all those years was, Ichiro Suzuki and his ability to do that. And then in the very next at bat, hit one, 450 feet.
Yeah, surefire Hall of Famer Ichiro Suzuki when his time comes. Right now, Cliff Godwin looking to manufacture some offense here for East Carolina. 1 big run last inning on the Jacob Starling base hit. There was a flair for the dramatic. Nowak came in as a pitch hitter and fielded a huge win over UTSA Saturday, part of a 14-run outburst. Now he drives one to center. That's a busy man with Trevor Marsh out there.
Yeah, that's 2 balls that the Pirates have hit pretty hard to straightaway center field here in this inning with nothing to show for it.
It's the 4th outfield assist for Marsh, and those balls have been hit hard tonight.
Yeah.
Now batting for your Pirates, the shortstop.
One of them a little more of a running catch. That one hit right at him.
Joey Barini's turn. Who started every game in short this year. Maybe down just a touch offensively, but a vital piece for the Pirates in his 89th start.
So maybe they're having a little issue with their pitch calling system. Pretty amazing what those kind of eye watch looking pitch calling systems. They all have different brands, but man,
there's help with the speed of the game, the integration.
And there's so many varieties of commands, if you will, or calls that you can put on those things, including picks and number of looks and all kinds of things. A lot of it is customizable. So pretty impressive. You're starting to see it used some in the high school level, and it's kind of part of another part of the evolution of the game.
And 2 pitching staffs, they're throwing it well tonight. Absolutely. Good pitch there.
Tell you what, Barini, that was his home run hack there. That was a kind of, as they talk about, 1 for you, 2 for the team. That was him getting off his best bolt and hoping to do some damage. Now a little more conservative now that he's got the strike on him.
He's coming off a junior year with a career best 320, had 4 homers. Evens the count. It's an East Carolina club, preseason favorites in the American, but dropping 2 with 3 at UTSA. They want a bounce back effort tonight. That one rolls foul. Something early in this season, but 4 one-run losses for East Carolina this year. Now, 3 of those have been against top 25 opponents, but they will be tested these next few innings.
Yeah, you know, the 6 losses by a combination of 8 runs. So Pirates have been obviously extremely competitive and in every game. Just like to see them convert those one-run losses to wins.
The 1-2. Stay alive.
Tell you what, Baker's been all around the plate tonight, showing pretty good velocity of that pitch up to 91. 2-2, 2 outs. And again, Coach Godwin trying to get the fans behind these Pirates.
Nearby Winterville native Trace Baker in a jam here in the 6th. And that ball skips away. The tying run is in scoring position.
You know, and that's one of those free 90s that all coaches talk about. That you know, 90 feet, the base paths are so hard to get, and the effort to protect that when you're on defense, and that's one of those free 90s that can come back and bite you for sure. 3-2 count, 2 outs in the inning, and now a runner in score position, base hit, scores it fairly easily.
Great 2 pitch coming to Joey Barini. And he got him. Nice fastball there from Winterville native Trace Baker. Just down the street and no trouble in that 6th inning. A fun in-state matchup continues after this critical strikeout for UNCW. Some scores around the American Athletic tonight. UTSA, whose bats really came to life in that ECU series, with a nice score over Baylor so far. And Wichita State, we told you about their 15 wins despite a coaching change. That's a good battle with Oklahoma State. These midweek matchups really give you a pulse of how your team's doing nationally. And this American Conference with 3 top 100 RPI programs, some good scores so far tonight.
Yeah, you know, and again, it's still so early. It's hard to tell how any of this stuff's going to shake out. But I'm going to tell you, the game we have here, Ev, you know, early on we were thinking we were looking at a slugfest, and not saying it still can't get there. But, you know, Coach Godwin's burning pretty good bullets. This game obviously of some importance to him, and we've got number 44 Lunsford Shinkman in the game. So clearly Cliff is making every effort to keep his club in this game.
The 15th ranked East Carolina Pirates leaning on their second most relied upon arm, Wyatt Lunsford Shankman, who has already pitched against Wilmington this year in that extra inning game. And no swing on the check right there. Kind of gives you a sense how much this game matters to East Carolina. 2 of their big arms coming out of the pen.
Yeah, you know, and yeah, I mean, they're shooting their best bullets again. Opportunity to try to win this ball game and win the the in-state series. So, yeah, I guess all all bets are off, right? Anybody that's ready may come in tonight.
Pirates have 2 top 50 RPI wins. They're searching for a top 100 RPI win tonight with UNC Wilmington in town. And one of the hottest hitters, Trevor Marsh, fights that one off. His home run really brought this raucous crowd quiet for a few minutes. Back in the first, he now has 2 hits.
Yeah, struck out last at bat on the big breaking ball, and you watch how active he is in the box, and really makes a pretty aggressive weight transfer to his front side, and kind of slid by the big left-handed breaking ball. Now he's dealing with a right-hander.
This one's drilled to left center. Trevor Marsh, opposite field, caught!
What a catch. Is that Bristol Carter on the catch there? And he hit that wall with some authority. He's certainly down, and that'll send the training staff and Coach Galvin out to check on him.
How did he hang on to that
I don't know. They have confirmed that it was an out catch, and I can promise you this, the folks in the jungle certainly appreciate that effort. Trainer's got his arm around Bristol. Bristol's smiling. Everybody's good.
The talented true freshman, a facial into the wall right here.
You see him full tilt, no fear, hard as he can go. He knows the warning track is coming up. He's not relenting. Boom. Ooh. Into the Farm Bureau sign. Maybe needs a little insurance on that one. But what a catch. That may be worthy of. We may see that one on ESPN. That's as good as it gets. Great catch by the exciting freshman Bristol Carter.
That was a top 100 recruit in the country, Bristol Carter, making a heck of a play right here. His first inning out in center.
That's as good as it gets. 100%. We had the question from the booth, is that a top 10 nominee? I think that's better than a nominee. If that's not one of the top 10 plays in the country today, I'll be excited to see what is.
And Bristol Carter saying, play my theme music.
Exactly right.
With a little Sports Center top 10 outro. Heck of a catch, robbing Marsh of extra bases. And now DiMartino watches a strike.
Those are absolutely the type of plays that get teams fired up. And Lunsford Shinkman right now wants nothing more than to get his guys back in there swinging the bat.
DiMartino, another big miss. And these type of momentum plays, 2 big bullpen arms, a great catch. It's starting to swing the tide here in Greenville all of a sudden.
Yeah, and that's what the game's all about, is controlling the mow and trying to keep it in your dugout.
That ball gets sprayed right for a base hit.
Yeah, nice piece of hitting by DiMartino to kind of settle everything down.
DiMartino with his 3rd hit of the night. That ties a season best for the UNCW right fielder.
There you see again, just not trying to do too much. Let that highly engineered aluminum bat do the job for you. You provide the barrel, let him provide the power, and
I need you to be a car salesman.
Right.
You could pitch anything for me, Mike.
I can if you need me to.
The longtime coach here in the Greenville area, Mike Mullis, I'm EvanBudrovich. Great matchup here of in-state foes. 148 all-time meetings, and another one-run thriller adding to the story. Here's Tanner Thatch, the reigning CAA Player of the Week. Hit 600 last week, but he's been held in check today with a couple of hard groundouts.
Yeah, and every time you face him, it gets more and more dangerous. And Lunsford Shinkman falls to a 2-0 count. This will be an interesting pitch here for him.
Goes back to a breaking ball, able to flip one in.
Tell you what, a really quality, very professional pitch there. 2-0 breaking ball in the back door.
Tanner Thatch, whose dad played baseball at nearby Barton College, looking to put on a show close to home, and he misses that one.
That was certainly the swing that he wanted to get off against the fastball, just a tick behind Lunsford Shinkman's offering.
One of the best relievers in the country versus an all-conference standout at the plate, and we have a 3-2 count. Numbers. Tanner Thatch has been so good with runners on this year.
It's one thing to be a good hitter. It's another thing to be a good hitter with runners at scoring position. That was really close over at first base.
Testing DiMartino over there. And how big now is that opening catch for Bristol Carter as we watch this again?
Tell you what, it was bang, bang.
This got back. Got him looking. And a good throw to second ends it.
Not real sure what happened right there with DiMartino, unless that was a...
I think DiMartino might have thought it was ball 4 or a third out. Instead, it ends the inning. East Carolina with some good defense. First from Carter, and then this double play as we stretch here in Greenville.
He lost track of the out.
Here's some notes around the American Athletic Conference. As we noted early in this game, no team pulled off a sweep. A lot of 2-1s, a lot of 1-2s, but John Montez of South Florida, what a week with 8 RBI. And then for UTSA, big pitching performance to win 2 of 3 over East Carolina. It's a league with 4 of the top 100 in the RPI, including nationally ranked ECU. And here tonight, 2 in-state foes, UNC Wilmington, East Carolina, and the stud offensive threat, Tanner Thatch, now comes into pitch. This is a familiar opportunity for Tanner, but now he comes into maybe the biggest spot of his season against a nationally ranked foe.
Yeah, you know, and again, the pride of Belvedere, North Carolina, Perquimans High School. Tanner is one of those guys you describe as just a baseball player, right? He can play defense, he can hit a little bit, and he can come on the mound and be one of your best guys. So be interested to see how the Pirates handle Thatch here.
This is Thatch's 9th career inning. He pitched a handful last year. He actually last appeared in the ECU matchup down in Wilmington, so he hasn't thrown in 2 weeks. And this is what I love about the midweeks. You get a lot of different faces. Thatch actually pitched in extras and gave up the go-ahead run in the 10th. But this is a huge shutdown inning if you're Randy Hood and his pitching staff.
You know, and what you're seeing here is Coach Hood and the staff, they like the left-handed matchup against the larger left-handed bats of East Carolina. And as we say that, it looks like the Pirates are going to pitch hit with the right-handed Colby Wallace. So the freshman who's had some success in limited opportunities this year. So we'll see kind of as the chess game continues or maybe really gets amped up, we'll see who comes out with the checkmate.
Colby Wallace, another in-state product. He had 2 big hits, came off the bench against UTSA over the weekend, went 2 for 3. He started 3 games in his young tenure, but the true freshman comes in and faces immediate heat there from Tanner Thatch. I love a kid who has 13 homers and can touch 90 coming in out of first base.
That's a baseball player. He's going to sit in that 89 to 91 range.
Throws it hard again, and that one's smack foul.
You know, and he's one of those unapologetically, like, I'm going to rear back and give you my best, and if you can catch up with it, so be it. He features fastball and a bunch more, and does have a serviceable breaking ball. Sometimes it's been better than others, but yet to see it tonight. Fastball's been good so far.
Colby Wallace, a top-rated freshman draft prospect here for ECU. Is off that pitch from the stud first baseman and now reliever Tanner Thatch.
Yeah, there's a little breaker.
If you're into the next level projections, this is an elite matchup of 2 guys you may see in the minors here down the road. As the 1-2's fought off.
You know, with velocity is talked about so much and is so easily recognized, but spin rate, and there's so many things that go into the evaluation of pitchers now. And when you see a guy pitching top half of the zone with you know, plus spin rate, that pitch has a whole different feel than one with lesser spin rate. And I think you're seeing that with Thatch. And I mean, it's really jumping on the hitters.
And with his size too, it comes out with such a late release point. It feels so much harder than it actually is.
Kind of like that by Thatch. He was like, look, I'll take that ball. Give me that one back with a little scuff on it. And everybody looks like they kind of get a chuckle out of it. And that ball's deposited over in the BP bucket for the Pirates.
Well, later. Thatch's great uncle is Jim Catfish Hunter.
Okay.
So there may be some tricks of the trade of how to apply some spitball or two if needed. Instead, he rears up and forces contact out of play.
I mean, that's just straight old Perquimans heat.
These in-state ties are so fun. Here's the Bisco, North Carolina native, Colby Wallace. Coach Cliff Godwin going to his bench here in the 7th. The breaking ball's hit hard off the body of the third baseman, and everyone's safe.
Yeah, that was the only play, the sliding effort, the shortstop laying out behind him, but I don't know that unless he comes up with that ball totally clean, I don't know if anybody has a chance to get Wallace.
And now a pitch runner enters after this opportunity missed.
Yeah, and I said sliding effort, that's more of a stab with the glove, and he kind of falls, but yeah, that would have been a tough play either way. The third baseman would have had to come up with it completely clean.
That is ruled an error for UNCW. Nonetheless, a runner on now as Nathan Chrisman will come in to pitch run, the China Grove, North Carolina product.
You know, the guy that Coach Godwin describes as the Swiss Army knife of this team, can play any position on the infield, good base runner, real headsy player.
You do wonder with the elite bat of Cunningham how small ball may or may not play a factor in this at-bat.
Well, we've seen Cliff throughout his career here. It doesn't matter who's up there. No, I'm not suggesting he will do it right here with Carter, but that is the same thing that the Wilmington staff was wondering with that pick over to see if he would show bunt.
Instead, takes strike one.
And that may have been, you know, again, he absolutely would be totally justified in allowing Carter to swing the bat here. But we could just as easily see him square the bunt. He gave him one look at a fastball.
More attention to first base.
And again, all these picks are about, this has very little, if anything, to do with trying to pick off the runner at first. This has everything to do with trying to read the intention of Cunningham at the plate.
That ball hits Cunningham.
So there was some question last time. There was no question that time. Absolutely hit him in the elbow.
And what a miss there for Tanner Thatch, because you just put a second runner on.
You know, and this is the interesting one to me. I mean, you've got JC, who's had great swings tonight. You've got Starr on deck, who's also had a 2-for-3 night. Again, you see Cunningham here hitting the back of the arm with the fastball from Thatch, but it kind of makes you wonder what Cliff will do in this situation. And again, as the chess match continues, trip to the mound. And
that's the pitching coach, Kelly Seacrest.
Yeah, and I think this is probably have more discussion of, what kind of bunt scenario or bunt defense they're going to run in this situation as much as anything. And so this is as the plot thickens, this is the part of the game that you can still momentum and you get momentum in your dugout, you hang on, and that's kind of how you win these games.
Arms ready in the UNC Wilmington bullpen. That's Cody Benton, ready to go. The East Carolina transfer, fittingly, if the opportunity calls for it.
You see some of the students out there encouraging him along, if you will.
Bringing up some war stories from his days. And, of course, his brother Trey has long ties as a pitcher here at East Carolina. It would be a neat reunion of sorts. Right now, though, for Tanner Thatch, the stud first baseman coming into pitch, and he'll face an All-American candidate, Jacob Jenkins Coward, here in the 7th. That is called outside for Thatch, who last appeared 2 weeks ago against this Pirate team. That resulted in a game-winning wild pitch in the top of the 10th. Thatch gave it away, and ECU won it in extras. It looks like so far Cliff Godwin trusting in the hands of his stud left-handed hitter.
Yeah, interesting decision, but I mean, still super early in this at bat. We'll see if Cliff is satisfied with what he saw out of the first swing by JC.
A 2-1 count will certainly help fire up this jungle here in Greenville. A 9-1 home record for East Carolina.
You know, you got a right-handed hitter on deck in Starling, who's also had a good night tonight, and that's got to figure in heavily into what Thatch's thoughts are on how he's going to go about trying to get Jenkins Coward out.
Catches the top of the zone there.
There's a really quality breaking pitch and a really high leverage moment to run the count to 2-2.
2 hits tonight for JJC. Pirates score 1 in the 5th, now threatening here in the 7th.
I'll say it again, this is fighting.
How about that breaking ball?
Gracious.
Thatch with a big strikeout.
Yeah, the word for the umpire from JC, he's fired up. You better watch it. It's
I don't think he was ready or set in that moment, if you will.
Now batting second baseman, number 10, Jacob Starling.
I think maybe he was having a little more conversation about the pitch before. He felt like he had to swing as that was extended off the plate. But
good point.
That's one of those things where, you know, as I was starting to say as he was swinging it, you know, you have to make the decision to fight through this at bat and try to still be productive for your team, regardless of whether or not you like the call. That call can't affect the next pitch, and that's very difficult, very easy to say and very difficult to do. So Cliff's wanting him to go out there and break up the meeting at the mound and appear in the dugout. This may be just enough time to get the bullpen hot. Clearly the Pirate fans do not like this delay in the action.
Remember, Cody Benton, the East Carolina transfer, is warming, and now he'll get a reunion opportunity. Randy Hood will have to do some double switching with his lineup card here in a moment.
And it almost looked like Cliff was talking to Paler, the home plate umpire, about him not coming to a complete stop on the mound. I'm not sure if that's the grievance that's being aired, but it looks like that was a little bit of what he was trying to say just through the hand motions he was using. But he pulls the Pirates together, and they're going to have a little chat about what the plan is.
How about this? Cody Benton, the ECU transfer, will face his former program when we return to Greenville in a tight one here in the 7th. East Carolina transfer Cody Benton comes in out of the bullpen. His older brother Trey pitched at ECU. He was drafted in 2019 by Cleveland. And now Benton returning to his former program. This is a pretty cool moment and a neat opportunity here in the 7th.
Yeah, and if you're like us, you're kind of looking over the roster and you see that there's also a Cole Benton from Cheragorda, North Carolina. So the Benton family is, in full effect today here at Clark LeClaire Stadium. And Cody, 4 2/3 on the year with a 1.93 ERA. We'll see what he can do against his former teammates.
These are the twins, Cody and Cole Benton. Think about the Agnos family here at East Carolina, what they were able to do. So tremendous, both the pitching and the shortstop side. And Now these Benton arms coming together. These are the storylines you script up in a Hollywood movie, and it's kind of neat how it unfolds here in a big spot in the 7th.
Well, you can rest assured that as Coach Godwin and the staff pulled the hitters over, they certainly have paperwork and a pretty good scouting report on what Cody was, at least in his time at East Carolina. And obviously, with 4 2/3 on the year, they've got some numbers on him, so or got some information on him. So this will be quite the matchup again. As we said before, the plot thickens, and we'll see how this game goes.
All of a sudden, a huge spot in the 7th with a nice atmosphere on hand here at Clark LeClaire Stadium. 148th all-time meeting. Mike Mullis, I'm EvanBudrovich. Weather playing kind, good baseball so far. And the second of a midweek matchup. ECU won in extras 2 weeks ago. Now 1-run game here in the 7th. And Starling gets hit by the pitch.
Hit on the elbow by the first pitch.
Wow, the bases are loaded.
You know, that's the thing when Benton comes in the game here. You would hope that he could maintain composure, not be overly amped up, and lets that first pitch go, gets away from him just a touch, up and in on Starling, and you can see here it just does graze him just enough to draw the free bag.
That's the 3rd hit by pitch of the night. Yep, just touched him. So what a spot for Ryan McChrystal checking in, who's batting 1,000 with the bases loaded this year. All of a sudden, the pressure's dialed up here for ECU transfer Cody Benton.
Boy, this is a lot to ask out of Cody to come into this environment, which he's pitched in before, but never in the other color uniform.
4 years later, back in his original location. What a breaking ball. Benton did throw in the earlier matchup against ECU. Got 2 outs in relief, but a much different spot now. 2 hit batters and an error have sparked this 7th inning. The 1-1 got him swinging, strike 2.
87 with some downward action. McChrystal just swings over the top of it. This is one of those deals where, McChrystal so badly wants to produce for his club, and it's kind of a matter of who can handle the size of the levity of the moment.
Bases loaded. Critical 1-2 pitch. Base hit, East Carolina. McChrystal delivers.
Bobbling right.
And the go-ahead run scores. Ryan McChrystal cashes in 2 big ones.
You know, 2 really big situations there. We had the bobbling right. The second run looked like he was probably going to score anyway. The bigger situation is Jacob Starling lost his footing going around second base, and he has to retreat to second base because tripped and fell to the ground. But good piece with 2 strikes from McChrystal. Kind of comes off that ball, just a little rollover ground ball. It doesn't necessarily take a bullet. You see the ball lost, and the Pirates plate 2. There you see in the background, Starling loses his footing coming around second.
All of a sudden, ECU back in front for the first time tonight.
Bristol Carter takes a look down at Coach Godwin like, man, I really wanted that one. I don't know if there was a take on there or if Bristol just missed that, but a 84-mile-an-hour offering at the heart of the plate.
Imagine what's going through the mind of DiMartino and Wright. That rowdy student section letting them hear it as Carter goes around swinging.
Well, let's also remember back to the last half inning where DiMartino had the base running bungle where it appeared that he lost track of the outs. So I wonder how much he took that out there with him, and then has a bobble on a pretty soft roller, and it kind of compounds itself.
The 0-2. Here's a drive. Bristol Carter deep, but not enough. Starling on a hitch in the trailer. Nice hustle in the 3rd on a deep sac fly.
Yeah, Bristol just missed that one, but enough to advance Starling. That's where that trip at second base is such a big deal. If Starling doesn't trip there, he was at 3rd and would have scored on that sac fly. You'll see it here. He just gets under it just a little bit. Left fielder able to settle under it.
And that jungle was ready to go nuts
Oh,
if that ball goes 5 more feet.
They were. The whole place. They were ready to fire the cannons, baby.
And now Randy Hood coming out for the pitching change. taking out a former ECU Pirate arm, and Cody Benton, his night is done.
And I'm wondering if he's got another left-hander down there. Yeah, it looks like he's got a left-handed arm going to make the way on to face Wilcoxon, and now, you know, now the serve and volley game, now it's, you know, kind of going to the Wilmington side, where they're going to do everything they can to try to keep the Pirates right here.
This is Baker Cox coming in out of the bullpen. We'll take another timeout as East Carolina, the bats come to life. That base hit there from Ryan McChrystal, the difference through 7th. New arm out of the UNC Wilmington bullpen, Baker Cox. And this has been a game of mixing and matching arms for Randy Hood. All of a sudden now, East Carolina's come back to take the lead. This is a critical spot for Cox with that runner at third.
Yeah, another junior college product out of Region 10. This is from left-hander Baker Cox from Spartanburg Methodist, who, interestingly enough, this year is making the move to a 4-year program playing NAIA baseball. So
a lot of different places, a lot of fresh faces here. The Columbia native, nearby Hopkins, South Carolina. He started his career as Charleston Southern, so he's played a lot of baseball in a lot of different spots. And here in his 3rd appearance of the year, facing the middle of the ECU lineup. Randy Hood leaning on his left-handed relievers tonight for a largely left-handed lineup. Here's Justin Wilcoxon.
You know, when that breaking ball is a sign of what pressure can do to you. It feels so good in the bullpen, but not nearly the eyes in the pen, and the first one you throw gets away from you a little bit.
There's a base hit for Wilcoxon. Make it 6-4 as the rally continues.
Yeah, these Pirate hitters have figured out this bullpen, and I don't know strategically anything that the Seahawks staff could have done, but you'll see here, I mean, Wilcoxon just does a nice job of taking what he's given, staying right back through the box, and again, they don't have to be line drives all the time. Those ground balls that find their way are just as effective.
Remember, this inning started with 2 hit-by pitches and an error. And the hits have come to follow, and now it's a 2-run lead. Let's see if Wilmington can keep the wheels from falling off in this inning. There's Luke Nowak, who started things off. He flew out to center last time up in the 6th.
You know, something quality teams do is score with 2 outs, and Pirates have done a nice job of it here late in this game.
Pitch from the left-handed reliever.
Yeah, and that's why he's in there. You know, Coach Hood made that move to face Wilcoxon and Nowak, and knowing that, you know, the 9-spot Barini's on deck. Sorry, 8-spot.
Here's the 0-2 from Baker Cox. Dials up a good fastball to end the inning. Not before East Carolina adds 3 of its own, some clutch 2-out hits to extend this ECU lead as we head to the 8th in a 2-run game.
3 runs on 2 hits, 1 error, 2 left on at 7-4.
We call it drive. The unrelenting desire to become the person you were born to be. Ignited by a moment. The realization that a future you could only dream of is within reach. At East Carolina University, you won't just imagine a path. You'll forge one through hard work and the success that comes without surrender. The journey that leads to your future. And this is where it begins.
Welcome back. You look at the national polls coming into the week, it is littered with elite programs. You see what Arkansas did this past week with a huge SEC series win. And all of a sudden now in the Carolinas, it's loaded up with good programs. Duke, Wake, North Carolina, East Carolina, South Carolina, Coastal Carolina, if you're catching my drift. A lot of good programs here in these two states, Mike.
Yeah, common theme there's Carolinas.
Heads Carolina, tails Carolina, everyone's getting involved as there's a first pitch ground out to start the top of the eighth. And what a response here for ECU tonight, down 4-0 in the second. Their pitching staff's kept them in it.
Yeah, this is, and specifically this inning is a great opportunity for East Carolina to play offense on defense, to go after these hitters and Sheikman to get them back in the dugout with an opportunity to keep that momentum going offensively. So that's what the Pirates are wanting to see, is Sheikman go out, pound the zone, and get them back in there with an opportunity to tack on some more runs.
Cliff Godwin very aggressive with his bullpen use tonight, going with his top two arms, Danny Beal, White, Lunsford, Shankman for a combined 3 innings. This ball's poked in the gap. That gets down in front of the new center fielder, Riley Johnson. And that throw will force the runner back to first.
Pretty good job by Bristol Carter getting to that ball, and wasn't necessarily the most picturesque throw, but getting it back in, in short order quickly to the infield. Couple that with the fact that the last thing that the Seahawks want to have happen is run themselves into an out at second base when you're down 2 this late in the game. But all in all, pretty good defensive play to cut that thing off.
Here's the shortstop, Kevin Jones, coming up.
The speedy Kevin Jones would be very difficult to double him up.
Jones the other way, and another base hit. So Wilmington is bringing the tying runs on the bases. A good rally here in the 8th.
Yeah, what's so critical about this, they're 2 guys away from flipping the lineup, getting it back to the top, who's had a good night tonight. So be fairly critical here that Sheikman kind of finds a way to try to collect these 2 outs and not have to face those guys with, with runners on base, runners in scoring position. Got a pinch hitter in Brock Wills to the plate.
UNC Wilmington continuing to go with options. Like you think of great shortstops in Wilmington history, you got to think of Brooks Baldwin, of course, most recently in 2022. Then there's Kevin Jones filling in, and now the pitch hitter Brock Wills.
Out of Holly Springs.
Roster littered with North Carolinians, and that is his recruiting specialty. 32 in-state players for Coach Randy Hood.
Pretty hard thing to do is sit over there all night and not really get your chance to play until late innings, and you come in to face a guy like Lunsford Sheikman, who's as good as anybody in the country.
And believe it or not, after an all-freshman campaign, this is Brock Wills' first at-bat of the year.
Yeah, I was double-checking that, but his first AB.
Last year hit .286, started every game, making his way back in the lineup tonight. I like both these coaches going deep into their benches tonight. Gives you a sense of how much this midweek game matters.
And it's not typically when you talk about deep in the bench, it's clearing the bench because there's a blowout one way or the other. These are these are strategic moves. And there you see the breaking ball called third strike for Lunsford Sheikman, tough AB for the first AB of the year for Wills. But you'll see this breaking ball is about as good as it can be when the two-strike situation absolutely freezes Wills, and good job of presenting that for the umpire by Wilcoxon.
Wyatt Lunsford Sheikman, a preseason watch list player for the National Stopper of the Year. He's showing you why. 2 quality innings tonight. And now it's Kyle DeBose working a strike. Sorry, Dobow's. It's a tricky pronunciation.
No, it is. You know what? I actually looked at the pronunciation guide a couple of times on that one. It looks like it should be Dobos, but
like
Dobow's.
You think Pillsbury Doughboy,
yeah.
But then it's Dobow's.
Dobow's.
Different ways to say names these days. He's swinging and a miss there for strike 2.
Big pitch here for Shank.
A true freshman Kyle Dobow is facing an elite arm. Wyatt Lunsford Sheikman shuts the door in the 8th.
There's some emotion for you. They're fired up there. The bullpen has answered the bell for sure.
One of the finalists for National Stopper of the Year puts a big stop on the 8th inning. We'll go to the bottom half. Wyatt Lunsford Sheikman, 2 innings scoreless for his East Carolina Pirates. This Grady White Boats game summary has been back and forth, but the real difference, the 7th inning 3-run rally for East Carolina. They're now out in front 6-4. It's a battle of the bullpens the rest of the way. 2 homers early for Wilmington, but not much on the scoring department else in the last few frames.
Yeah, Seahawks to the pin again to Connor Marshburn. 12 2/3 on the year, so why not, right? Another look. Let's roll them out there and see what happens.
Joey Barini will get things started. And he rips a base hit.
Should be 2.
Past Tanner Thatch in the corner. He's got his eyes on a third base here. Barini is moving around the bags with a leadoff triple.
Wow. And he even kind of had to break stride around second base, a little misstep. But that ball gets down there, rattles around in the corner a little bit. And again, the right fielder, De Silva's kind of had some struggles tonight and struggled to come up with that one. And Barini chugging all the way, heading third. Speed kills.
Tremendous effort out of the box for the speedster. So Joey Barini legs out his first triple of the year for the Pirates. And here's Nathan Chrisman with the infield all the way in, and then a little bit extra on that right side.
And we've seen Nathan Chrisman in these situations earlier in the year where he's had to produce a sac fly in a big win, and he has done so. So it looks as though Coach Gowan's going to let him swing away.
He does fall behind, or sorry, the 1-1 count.
Anything deep in the outfield will be enough to score the speedy Barini from third base.
Connor Marshburn, his 13th inning. This is a tough spot. The triple does not help the cause. Nathan Chrisman, who in his last 3 appearances has scored big runs off the bench. He does that again tonight. He was the tying run in the 7th. Now that is going around, so strike 2. He's a representative for this baseball program on the Student Athlete Advisory Committee, meeting with his fellow peers, a standout in the classroom. And fights one off.
I had an opportunity to work a camp out at North Pitt High School for Coach Ryan Meadows, and Crispin was one of the guys that was, kind of in my station working with the kids with me, and just a delightful guy to be around, baseball junkie, and it's going to do great things. Just a really good young man.
Now at 2-2, a good battle. And a suddenly cold night here in Greenville. The bats have awoken at just the right time if you're ECU. 1 in the 5th, 3 more in the 7th. And Chrisman goes down swinging.
Yeah, 23 hits on the night and 10 runs produced from those hits. So there have certainly been some balls put in play, and we've seen runners stranded on both sides, but pretty good ball game to this point. Chrisman just a little behind that one, a little tardy on the fastball.
So now it's 2 of the hottest hitters in the American Athletic and maybe the country. Carter Cunningham now up.
Carter's had a quiet night as far as putting balls in play tonight, 0 for 2, but had been hit by pitch twice. And, coming off a weekend that's not really up to his standards, but, his standards are so high, but I know he would love nothing more than to tackle that insurance run for third base.
Cunningham leads this American Athletic Conference in batting average, hits, RBI. Such a productive start to his year and a chance to cash in the speedster and Barini.
And I'm going to tell you that 1-0 pitch that to take the count 1-1 was one he'd like to have back. That was one he could have done what he needed to do with.
Off the end of his bat and the base hit. So Cunningham on the board with his first hit to extend the lead.
And there you go. That's what leaders do. Good piece right there. Puts the ball in play hard and gives his team a chance. Just kind of fights that ball off into right field. Ball gets in on him a little bit, but no problem. Drives it in right, and again, takes the easy RBI.
How about this late offense for East Carolina? Now Randy Hood going to his bullpen one more time.
Interesting. I think the fans have been on Paylor, the home plate umpire. He's been fairly generous with the length of these visits, that allowing these guys to kind of hang out there. So we'll see if that continues here, but I be curious to see.
So both Benton brothers will come in tonight as ECU extends its lead here in the 8th. Welcome back to Greenville, where Cole Benton, the twin brother of Cody, who just appeared earlier tonight, comes in out of the pen. So Cole and Cody both pitching. They've each pitched against ECU twice this year. Now Cody, he played at ECU 4 years ago. Cole has been at Wilmington his entire tenure. Now for his 62nd career appearance, enters in this 3-run game.
Yeah, left-hander, 2 innings on the season, and comes in to see if he can quiet this Pirate offense and keep this thing to where his team is within striking distance as they go into the top half of the ninth.
The twin brothers, kids of Angie and Rick Benton, who are hopefully watching down in Wilmington. They are natives of just outside the Wilmington area, from Cerro Gordo, North Carolina. And right now, if you're Wilmington, this is essentially self-preservation. You want to keep your team in it for that last at-bat of the ninth.
Yeah, and I got to feel like, well, they've got another arm down there loosening it. I don't know if this is going to be a matchup situation left on left, because they do have a right-hander up down there, so we may see Benton for one hitter. I mean, I don't know why you'd get another guy up if you planned on rolling with Benton as long as you could, but we shall see.
8th different pitcher for the Seahawks tonight, who led 4-2 going into the 5th. A run there, 3 more in the 7th, a run in the 8th now, including Tanner Thatch, who moved from first base to pitch. He's now back there defensively. Two more hits for Jacob Jenkins Coward, a team high 14 multi-hit games. And this team certainly emotionally goes and carries as much as this hitter takes them right here.
Yeah, no question. He is one of the kind of the big 3 for them, and Benton comes in to face at least 2 of them here back to back with Cunningham at first base.
Cliff Godwin is rocking a pretty nice stash.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Rolling here in March. So now a 2-0 count. And another take.
This certainly is not why the staff went to Benton, and maybe explains why the limited appearances this year. But they bring him in to face the left-hander, and he's gone 3-0. So again, be curious to see what they do behind him here.
Big fastball there on 3-0. And the bat there of Cowart accidentally tapped the catcher, Brian Arndt. You getting the same Tom Selleck vibes from Cliff Godwin that I was there a minute ago?
Well, I think that's a bit of a stretch. Tom Selleck's tough now. That's I'm sure that the coach would like to hear that, but
make him feel good. That's for sure. There's strike 2.
Interesting look there. 3-0 green light, then go to the bunt, and I'm going to bet you that was not a called bunt. You could see that from us seeing the angle on TV, we're focused on the pitcher and the hitter, but the third baseman is playing in the 5.5 hole, giving the bunt.
So the payoff pitch here from Cole Benton. And Cole dots it up quite nicely there for the punch out.
Yeah, to go from 3-0 to come back, pretty good recovery there for Cole, and it looks like they're, I don't know that they're going to make a move, but you see a good strike 3 pitch there, and that will bring Coach Hood out, and he is going to make the quick move to the right-hander to face
this is
Jacob
a part
Starlin.
of college baseball that's still a factor, not in the pro levels. This will be the 5th different reliever. The last 4 have all recorded 1 out.
Yeah.
No 3-pitch or 3-batter minimums in the college game.
Nope, and I don't know. Be curious to see if the game ever gets to that point at this level, but certainly something that this in the pro game, in the pro environment, this game would arguably be over at this point, or at least obviously in the next frame. But play by the rules that you have, and Coach Hood's choosing to use his staff to try to do whatever he can to give his guys a crack at it.
Here's Kannapolis native Mason Murdoch, who enters for the last out of the 8th. UNC Wilmington's emptied the bank in the bullpen. 9th different pitcher. The interesting part for me is each of the last 4 have recorded 1 out. Kind of piecing things together if you're Randy Hood here in bullpen. So Mason Murdoch out of Kannapolis, North Carolina, comes in. He's only thrown 6 innings this year. He's a talented arm in terms of a highly rated recruit, top 200 freshman from 2 years prior. And this year currently, gave up a run against North Carolina a week ago. He's been situational in the bullpen. And now he'll face the right-hander Jacob Starling, who's coming to life. A couple of hits and a hit by pitch tonight. And Starling delivers a deep pop-up. Okay, I'll admit there, I got a little...
Look, I'll give you total credit. That ball sounded like it was hit a whole lot better than that.
So instead, Jacob Starling a 2-hit night. And we'll go to the 9th, wrapping up this midweek matchup. Welcome back to Greenville, where UNC Wilmington continues a big stretch here of CAA play. That's a battle for first place this weekend. A&T and Wilmington both off to nice starts in the conference, and then a heavy hitting slate. College of Charleston, reigning conference finalists. Big game hosting NC State at the start of April. And right now, if you're UNC Wilmington, the 3 runs, not hard to overcome, but you got to face a tough bullpen here with Wyatt Lunsford-Shankman, who's been really good, racking up strikeouts in relief.
Yeah, no, his clean outings or clean innings, and that's all he's after here is continue the great outing and get the win for his club.
That pitch has been electric tonight. 3 Ks and 2 scoreless. The combination of him and Danny Beal, now 4 innings of scoreless relief, kept the team in it. The bats have come alive since. This pop-up drifts into the gap. And there's the first out of the inning.
Caught by Riley Johnson. Good to see him out there running around. He's
returning from injury Saturday at UTSA.
Yeah, he's able to play defense right now. Coach Galvin says he's going to kind of ease him along as far as offensively, but good to see him out there running around and smiling and enjoying the game that he has certainly given an awful lot to play. With
Easter weekend coming up, that series Thursday to Saturday against UAB before a huge matchup at NC State back in the top 25. And there's a base hit for Trevor Marsh, who has the 3-hit day.
So this is kind of high drama here, Ed, because DiMartino coming up, and then the guy that we've talked about all night, and Thatch awaits on deck. If DiMartino could get on, Thatch would represent the tying run. So this is again another critical out for the Pirates staff. If you know that brings Thatch up with a chance to at least not to be able to tie you, it would still leave him a run short if he were to get a ball out of the park. So this is a big out here. Obviously, a ground ball double play would be preferred by the Pirates.
We saw that stretch in April. 9th, 10th, and then the weekend series. 5 home games in 6 days for East Carolina. It's a busy stretch coming up.
DiMartino looking at a shot for redemption after the base running error and then the error in right field.
That one sneaks away. DiMartino, who's had an up and down night, a couple of tough defensive plays. And he does have 3 hits at the plate. 25 combined hits in this game. Credit these programs for keeping it 7-4. It has a chance to be a lot more.
DiMartino took a swing right there, trying to make it a couple more.
With the dangerous Tanner Thatch due up next, the home run leader for Wilmington. Lunsford Shankman spikes one in the dirt.
Good job by Wilcoxon to keep it in front of him and then accidentally kicks it kind of up the third base line, but hustling to recover it to hold the runner at first base. Again, you know, when you're in this situation, you're down to your last 3 outs. If you're the Seahawks, you've got to be a little more conservative than maybe you otherwise would be, as is evidenced by the fact that Cam Clonchin at first base is playing behind the runner over there, just playing defense.
Swing and a miss. There's 2 outs here in the ninth.
And folks, I'm telling you at home, that is a really, really big out when you have the dangerous Thatch coming to the plate. Really good breaking ball here by Lunsford Shankman to record the strikeout. Now, if Thatch were to get a ball out of the park, you still have a 1-run lead. You go get the next guy and get out of here. But really big strikeout there by Lunsford Shankman.
Tanner Thatch, who has pitched and at the plate, reached base once, but yet to get a hit tonight. The reigning CA Player of the Week. This is a Wilmington club 0-7 when trailing in the 9th inning this year. They've lost multiple ranked games by 1 or 2 runs. They've had opportunities tonight.
Yeah, quality pitch right there by Shankman, missing down just a little bit, but quality pitch there. Let's see what he does. 2-0. He's been pretty good with the 2-0 breaking ball tonight. Let's see if he tries that one backdoor here with Thatch.
Now the 2-0 challenges Thatch, and this should wrap things up. Riley Johnson there to make the catch, and East Carolina secures the midweek series sweep, winning at Wilmington in extras and a comeback win tonight as the light show coronates an East Carolina win.
Good night by the Pirates. The bullpen showed up, did what they had to do. The bats sign of life after kind of a little early struggle, but all in all, been a good night by the Pirates. And you know, Wilmington was game and got to see a lot out of a lot of different guys for Coach Hood and his staff. They have a little better feel for what they have down the bullpen. So not a total loss night, just a win on the scoreboard for the Pirates.
2-hit night for Jacob Starling fueling the rally, and that bullpen effort for East Carolina. Shankman and Beal dominant in relief. Wilmington brought the bats early with a couple of homers. East Carolina came storming back to win the 148th all-time meeting. It was a entertaining night for pitching down the stretch. The 7-4 ECU win. For Mike Mullis, I'm Evan Budrovich. Kyle Gaskins leading our great crew tonight. This interstate matchup always entertaining, and tonight it's East Carolina holding off UNCW by 3 in this midweek battle.